Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers Live on Monday at 1 p.m. All right, so what is going on out there today? And for those of you that are watching and don't know, I have another screen down here that I look at to try to keep up with the comments. And so that's why I'm looking down. I'm not ignoring everybody. So today, Chris Keller made it in first today. Finally on time, and you were the first one here, and I appreciate that. So that is awesome. So it's cloudy and cold here today, 33 degrees in mid-Indiana. If you were stuck on the interstate here yesterday, it was closed for like 4 hours because of accidents. That's a huge problem. So let's see, Josh, what's going on? Hello. Edgar, thank you for coming in. What's happening today? Will is here today. What's happening out there? And I saw late I didn't come on this other screen yet here because they are delayed from each other, which is really something. So as I tap buttons, Josh, I'm late. Did I go late? It said 1 o'clock. So I apologize if I'm past time. So what today? I wanted to get into this seeing machines thing, which I thought was super interesting. You could comment on that if you want to. Seeing Machines, which is a company, has a thing for trucks, which they're putting out around the world, just not here yet, although you know they're going to work on it, where not only does it watch you drive, it reads your face, your eye movements, how you move around, and it decides if you're tired, it vibrates your butt. It sends a vibrating signal up your butt. And then it also sends a message back to your company that says, hey, you know what? We're looking at this guy and he's tired. Our computer determined that he's tired, so you need to do something about it. So not only is it bad enough that your company might watch you driving through a drive cam, but they may also vibrate you, poke you in the butt, goose you basically, and also send a message back to them. So isn't that really great? I just love it. Hey, what's going on, Amanda? Thanks for coming in today. Mad Maldy is here. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, and I had a problem with the thumbnail too, so I apologize for that. It won't let me upload a thumbnail, so you had to look at my face on there rather than a regular thumbnail. So sorry about that. Kim, hey, what's going on? Yeah, isn't that ridiculous, Edgar? I mean, not only they watch you, then they have a computer determine if you're tired or not. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Stephen Foster, what's happening today? Michael W's here. Marty, imagine if Swift changed their name to Puke. Yeah, well, they turned off their driver-facing cameras, so think about that. Rhino, what's happening out there? Oh, yeah, everybody should be safe, hopefully, in the weather. Not bad here today. Jaybird's from Idaho. Yikes. Probably better here than there, probably. Scott, what's happening today? James, the weather today here is 33 degrees with snow on the ground. It was supposed to turn into ice, but as we go through the night, the temperature is supposed to increase. So I'm looking at not an icy day like they had originally said. So Mr. Flores from Las Vegas, that is awesome. Probably better there. Truck and Pop, you're off today. All right. You should catch me live all the time. That's what I say. That's what I say. James Clark, yeah, so that's the weather, right? Light Bright, what's happening? Thank you for coming in. Mad Mal, you ran 39,000 paid miles last week. That is great. Heading to Connecticut. No, that's really good. So, and did you do all those legal? We're going to say yes, hopefully, because you can run a good miles legal as long as the company keeps you moving. Mike, what's happening? Jeremy, you don't understand the idle policy when it's 30 below. You should run your truck. Below 5 or so, that's probably my limit. Certainly under 0, you should run the truck. I do, and you should do the same thing. What about per diem on taxes, right? We can't deduct company drivers. Can no longer deduct the per diem on their taxes like we used to. So if you're getting ready to do your taxes, enjoy not taking that large deduction that we used to get. A computer to see if you're tired. Who's doing that? A company called Seeing Machines, and they're in use in Australia and in Europe already. Many companies are using it, so you darn well know it is going to come here. It vibrates your seat if it thinks you're tired and sends a message back to your company that says, hey, you know what? Your driver's tired. Why don't you do something about it? So theoretically, You could be written up or fired just like the drive cams for it. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. David Griffin, what's happening? Amanda, you're going to start at Schneider and Indy. Oh, that's the that program that they have. So let us know how that goes. And are you going to do tankers or flats or vans there? What are you doing? I don't know if Schneider's running flats anymore. Mad Melody grossed 2,000 that week as a solo company driver. That's better than a lot of Walmart drivers we talked about. Joshua, what's happening in Utah today? 18 inches in Seattle, more on the way. I know, Dwight. That was really something. They got more snow this weekend, they said, in some places than they get the entire winter. Greetings from Fargo, North Dakota. Wow, what's going on? Are you in the oil fields up there? Kim, if no one ever drove, well, they were a little tired, none of the freight would get delivered on time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who's to say, that you're too tired? Is some computer going to determine that you're too tired? And then what? The truck can just drive itself? The trucker crashes on I-5 Washington, killing a dozen plus chickens. Yikes. This morning, your dad talked to the driver and said, she said you're slick on the black ice. Yeah, exactly. The black ice is just that we can't see it. So be very careful in the bad weather. And if you think it's not good, pull over and stop driving. I look younger. Did I get a haircut? Right. If I looked any younger, I'd get carded at places. But yeah, I finally broke down and went to Haircut Corner, where a half a head of hair is half price. The Volvo you drove is broke down. Again, hopefully you're getting breakdown pay, and they're going to fix it. That's the problem. Even the mechanics here, they don't like Volvos because they say they break down all the time. So, US 93 in Ely, Nevada is a complete sheet of ice. It's been a mess out west lately where it's been better here, unusually. Any updates on the driver-facing camera? Are they legal or illegal? They're legal in the United States. They are certainly legal here, just not in Canada. Reginald's headed Arizona, going to leave Missouri. Yeah, that would be a better plan right now. Sea Hill, hello from Georgia. Good day on I-85. Yeah, I bet. I bet it's doing better, although the roads here pretty good today. Larry is loading in Nashville, getting detention pay. Ha! Do I have any updates on the proposed rule changes? They said that at the end of March they were going to make announcements on the rule changes, so I am waiting for that. Xload, hey, what's happening out there? Yeah, thank you. Oh, you like the videos? I appreciate that. And thanks for coming in live. I come on live every Monday at 1. Luis, thanks. Good to see you on here. For Schneider, being local home every night is 40 cents a mile. 1,890 miles a week. You'll average 650 gross every week. 650 gross. No, students are getting 700 gross. Certainly you should make more than $650 gross. I don't really like local mileage if you're not going to get any miles. Or do they not pay anything for, stops and everything else? Because 650 gross, that's really low, okay? Unless it's only like 35 hours or, 30 hours a week or something like that. And that works out good for that. Oh, Amanda's going to do vans? All right, so good. Let's see how that goes down there. But there have been other people through that liked the program, and Schneider did exactly what they said. So I'm hoping you don't have any problems. Jeff, what's happening? We're doing good here. Huh. Driver fatigue in governed slow trucks, what do you think causes rolling roadblocks? Well, what causes the rolling roadblocks is drivers that don't know what they're doing, right? Trying to hold everybody up. Joshua gets unloaded. Good. Still at CFI training. Yeah, CFI, they didn't want to talk to me, but, so I'll have to go with what you said on it, really. Apparently, Walmart drivers got a 1 cent raise. Wow, big money over there at Walmart. He still won't get me over there. Ivona said that's long training there. And that 650, I mean, I'm still thinking about that, being kind of disappointed. You haven't watched the news in 6 months. What season is it? Are you locked in a hole somewhere? Is someone sending things down to you in a basket? Facing cameras and driver facing cameras are only legal if the driver signs the Privacy Act. I don't know about that because, you can work at a company and they can have cameras and watch you. So I wouldn't suggest that. Although I think companies should probably monitor and have you sign. But I'm not a lawyer, of course. But you can work at a factory and there are cameras around. You go into a business, there are cameras around. So I'm not sure about that. We'd have to ask a lawyer for that, or get one of the lawyer shows for that. ELD is causing more accidents. Depends, right? You should always stop if you're tired. So tired drivers that are not stopping are causing the accidents. The equipment's not the one making you drive tired. You want drivers to know as a puppy at tall grass there's money to be made. Yes, exactly. You can work at whatever company and sort of make it, unless you're only getting like 30 cents at PAM or something. But if you're getting a decent wage and monitor your time and have a company that'll move you, you can make some money. And Rhino, half price haircut. It's true. Haircut corner in Lafayette, half a head of hair, and you pay half price. So there you go. Drivers are speeding. Exactly. They shouldn't do that. So when Swift and Knight merged, who runs the show? Are they still two companies? Well, they merge as much as they could. They still keep separate trucks. You're in Memphis, but it's raining. All right. Oh, you're going to do regular flatbed. Okay. Another day. Yes, Mr. Penske. What's going on out there? DOT Foods raised their pay 2 cents. That's good. And detention's $30 an hour after 2 hours. That's great money for sitting there. $30 an hour. And they were featured on the channel as well. So people that are getting nothing after 6 hours, I mean, holy mackerel. How do I keep DEF from freezing? The trucks heat the DEF. So your truck should heat it as you're driving. You turned me on to the Gold Bulldog. Yes. Get a Gold Bulldog if you're going to run a Mac. At least the way it used to be. When the Bulldog was gold, it meant the entire truck was Mac. The engine, transmission, driveline, rear end, everything was Mac, 100% Mac. Otherwise, you got a silver Bulldog on the hood. That's what it used to mean. Johnny's enjoying 3 days off. That's awesome. Edgar's off today and home watching Trucking Answers. I appreciate it. Believe me. You're loaded with Florida natural orange juice. Great. I have some in the fridge. I headed to Memphis on a 2-stop, as long as they pay extra for the stops. Anyone in South Connecticut looking for hourly home every night? Everybody in Connecticut should be looking for hourly. Holy moly. Thanks, Cuba. I appreciate that. We're waiting for the Stom. Hey, what's going on, Truckers Coach? Good to see you here today. Thanks for popping in. Going to Toledo after you're done. That's good. You'll be in some of the weather, but not as bad, right? You called Stevens and they offered you 37 cents with a 1 year. Wow, that's pretty good money. 37 cents after a year. Okay, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Give a review for Finkel for Freight. Holy mackerel, that sounds like some kind of fake company like you'd see on TV. Rhino says they have to let you know they're being recorded. That doesn't happen in warehouses. But again, right, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not sure about that. Plus, you sort of know you're being recorded. There's a camera in front of you. So how about that side of it? I mean, honestly. David, thank you very much. I try to do what I can out here. Do you receive a 400-pound allowance for trucks? Yeah, you get some kind of 400-pound exemption for the APU on the drives, or which would attach to your gross, but for your drives. The ELD isn't causing accidents, it's careless drivers. I totally agree. You left Walmart 3 years ago because of the changes, and you got an hourly job at Nestle Water. That's probably way better. And I heard that a lot of drivers did a lot of leaving when they changed a bunch of stuff at Walmart. And I totally agree with them. They all should. That's the only way that the changes get changed back, is y'all don't tolerate it, right? Combat Trucking, 478-pound exemption. Wow. Oh, so that's even better. They don't weigh that much either, right? So you kind of get a little bit of a benefit. Ramon, Kent, Washington, waiting for a dock. Oh, what's it doing the weather over there? And I appreciate it. Thanks, you. Great videos. I appreciate that. Thank you. Truck and pop-up, the right. That's the question to ask. I almost ran hard. I got caught in Nashville rush hour on empty. Almost regretted that decision. Yeah, sometimes you get stuck in traffic. Look, let's be honest. It's just a real pain in the butt. It's raining in Delaware. Ugh, get out of Delaware and head this way. You notice that Schneider flexes your rate on loaded miles and short haul miles. They pay 31 cents for deadhead. Really? Schneider doesn't pay the same for loaded and empty miles? That's disappointing. That if they would pay 31 cents on deadhead. That doesn't make them crooked, especially if they tell you that up front. It would be really low, but it's only crooked if they don't tell you. If they lay everything out there and then you accept it, that's not being crooked. You say, all right, I accept it. You're headed to a place called Vistar in Connecticut. I've heard that name, or at least maybe seen it on trailers going by. Morgan, run for president. I don't know about that. Hey, what's going on, Monvec? From UK, buy British cars. We looked at a Jaguar XF wagon this weekend, so I don't know what to tell you. I love them. The ELDs are weeding out the people who can't adapt to regulations. This ELD thing is always the talk of the town, but the logs didn't change, right? The hours of service, nothing changed. You just had to actually, put it in there. So I don't know what to say. You're still bound by the same rules before the electronic log. So if you were following it before, the electronic log doesn't change anything. Do I know anything about Smith? No, other than they're right up the street here in Remington, and they have those big Pete's. Hey, Peterbilt 379, what's going on today? You're probably not stuck in a snow day. If no one ever drove while they were tired, none of their freight will be delivered. Kim has the comment of the day, certainly. Finkel 4 should be exposed. You're exposing them. What is the problem there? I mean, I'm sure hardly anyone has ever heard the place. You had a Mack Bulldog on the headlight of my motorcycle before your bike got stolen. Was it gold or silver? Well, on a motorcycle, it'd be silver, right? Because they don't make motorcycles. The APU doesn't affect your gross. 400 on your drives. I thought you could get 80,400 gross because of it. So you can do 34,400 drives, but still only 80,000 gross. That's not that helpful, I guess. Jared, yay. Thanks for coming in today. David, I appreciate that, right? Elizabeth, New Jersey, company start off with no CDL, got permit, DUI like 8 years ago. A DWI. Some places will take you, but it's usually 10 years. You can get a job, but it's going to be a lot harder. The owner op told me that long hood trucks save more fuel than big sleepers. Well, you're probably better off with a hood than a sleeper, the longer sleeper, but you're more comfortable with the sleeper. And all that, the fuel depends on how much you make a mile. Let's put it that way. If you're getting $3 a mile, hey, who cares? Trucker's coach, Walmart is not the same as it used to be. You're one of the youngest. Oh, I didn't know you ever drove there. Walmart driver's high at 27 in 2003. You left after 5 years to become an owner-operator. Best thing you ever did. I didn't know you worked at Walmart. That's pretty good. And, after those changes, a lot of drivers quit, right? I read a lot about it. So, and you probably did the best thing you ever did. Exactly. And now you got it made over there. Well, certainly because you don't want all this weird stuff that they're doing there now, lower in pay and everything. Who does that? Although they did just give another pay raise. You'll be home for the weekend in Delaware. Well, if you live there, I guess you have no choice. Snowing in South Jersey, 4 inches. We're going to put that as South Jersey. It was supposed to turn to ice here, but I guess it's not going to. Being tired or fatigued is very subjective. Different people have different thresholds. That's the thing. When the computer comes on there and says, oh, this driver's tired because it reads your whole face, how does it know you're tired? How does it know you're not looking at something else or whatever? I don't like it. And it sends a message back to your company after it gooses your butt. I just don't like it. Dan, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, you do, Monbeck. You work there? All right. The ELD does not work for everybody. It doesn't matter. The law is a law. So as long as you're following the law, the ELD works for everybody. And the rate is on household goods miles. Is that crooked? It's not crooked it isn't crooked unless they don't tell you. Crooked is they're hiding something like fraud. They don't tell you. They switch it around. If they say it up front, then it's bad, any company, but it isn't crooked unless they tell you one thing and then you get there and it's different. As long as they tell you, it's okay. It's not good that they're doing it, paying like that, but it's not crooked. Ivona, exactly. Thank you. Trucking answers for FMCSA director, Kim. That'd be maybe a better job. Pay less than president, though, right? Josh, zip to zip. So, right. But if they tell you up front, then they're not being crooked about it. As long as they lay it out up front to you, you get to decide, right? Showers should be offered at the crack count. Yes, they should be, but would people take advantage of them? Many owner-ups will tell you the ELD favors the mega cures. They might tell you that because they can't run legal. Because an owner-operator says it doesn't make it so. People need to accept that the electronic log is here to stay. Yes, it is. And if you were following before, like I've always recommended, you just follow now, and it really didn't change your life any. The company you work for started hiring new drivers and they're paying them $16 an hour. Ooh, after training is $18. What is your opinion on this? Well, number one, do they give overtime? You need overtime, and that's still, I think you should get in the 20s. In Indianapolis, it's 20 plus, easy, 22, even 27 at some places. I think you should be in the 20s, but, if it's a short day, maybe it's worth it. There can be other reasons that money's, worth it. I think it's a little low. They're mad because they can't cheat the system. Exactly. No cheating, and so now they're stuck because they've been cheating, and now they can't cheat it. That's what the problem has been. Rick, appreciate that. Always a flag here because we're America here. Although we do like Jaguars, as I said. Philly saw a sign for Class A, 57 cents a mile with full benefits. Yeah, that's pretty good, right? And then that too, what do the benefits cost? Oh my gosh, you call places, it can be $30 a week and it can be $200 a week. I mean, that makes a huge difference. 400 applies to gross as well. Look at gross weight and you can find it on the Thermo King. I thought that the APU extra weight was gross and drives. That's how they did it. You could add the drive, add it to the drives, and add it to your gross. Otherwise, well, you're not really getting 400 pounds, right? Back in the dry drivers was 20 hours straight and still managed to drive safely. No, there were wrecks then too. There were just less people. And it's really not safe. Come on. We've all done it, right? I've driven really long distances like that illegally, and it isn't safe. It just isn't safe. I mean, holy mackerel. Walmart retracted their pay increase. You put a few videos out them and they hate you. Yeah, let them hate you, right? If you're not being hated, you're not doing anything for anybody. They found out they screwed up by decreasing the pay and they lost a lot of their long tenure drivers. Yeah, I mean, decreasing pay is never a good plan at a trucking company or any company. So I don't know why Walmart thinks, oh, we'll just decrease pay because it's such a great place to work. It's just ridiculous. And you were right to leave. And so were all those drivers. And so now they've had to come back around. And that's what they get. That's what they get. Hey, what's going on, Franz from Europe? Thanks for coming in. I see you in here a lot. Walmart's acceptance rate for drivers 4 years ago was 10%, the same as Harvard. That doesn't prove anything. Now it's 80%. Yeah, they can't get people like everybody else because not only me and Truckers Coach, right, but a lot of people put out these videos about Walmart and drivers are getting the fact that it's just another trucking company now. It isn't like some good job like it used to be. It's totally just another company. You can make the same money elsewhere. It isn't a big deal. And this, the slip seating, come on. That's got to be one of the only places I've ever seen that slip seats a sleeper truck. Unless you count England, where you have 3 people in the truck. But I don't know if that's really slip seating it. Your Troy is off today. Oh, you like the show? Say, hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Keep watching the videos of a trucker shortage, which I think is a lie. It's totally a lie. Or England, here we go right back to England. They couldn't put trucks with 3 beds in them and fill them up all the time. There are students waiting for trainers there. They have so many of them. There's no shortage. They can't keep people because they treat them poorly and then pay like this household goods miles or ridiculous, make you sit 6 hours without getting paid. And bingo, they can't get drivers. Yeah, of course. ELD is not for safety. No, it's just recording your log. That it isn't safety. Let's be true about that. But it's just recording the log that you're already required to fill out. Is $25 an hour good for show? That's better, right? I want over 20 an hour. That's what I think. But you got to decide for you what. But the 16, 18, I think that's low. 20, it seems like 20 plus overtime. Who's my best friend? The cat right here. Well, ELD controls the amount of freight being moved in a day. Okay, it does control the rates. It helps the rates. If everybody would follow their stupid log, the rates would go up. Roads are nice and slippery in Utah. Keep the chains handy. Hopefully you know how to put them on. After getting used to it, you like it. Yeah, I mean, of course, what you're doing, it should be fine. I think you can make that in a day, right? The problem with being new is you don't understand what losing in your settlement. Yeah, you don't want to have a settlement that is negative. Holy mackerel. Why don't they just pay over the road truckers by the hour? I agree. I've seen a couple of places that are starting to do that. Hourly plus overtime. I totally agree. But of course, then companies would have the responsibility to get you out of a dock because they're sitting there paying you and they don't. It's much easier because most drivers will just work for free. So it's better for the company, honestly, to be honest, right? To have you sit in the dock for free than to pay you by the hour. Edgardo, hey, what's happening out there? You could throw big cities at night. Yeah, but Peterbilt, we don't want to cheat these logs. That's not helping him anything. Walmart implemented a training program and a 2-week program by working on backing. Really? I didn't know they took trainees. They have completely lowered their standards. Drivers are passing Walmart now. They have the turnover. Yes. Are you saying that Walmart will take student drivers? Because they're advertising 30 months. So presumably, if you have 30 months of driving, you shouldn't need a backing class, really. Although they do it here too, which I've done them. So I've taught those classes. If you get a couple of backing accidents and they don't want to fire you, they'll send you to a class. So maybe that's what they're doing there. You like the ELD, keeps your company in check. Exactly. They have to hold to it and trip plan better. Exactly. I mean, it holds both of you responsible. Yeah, drivers used to go coast to coast, no sleep. Look, the farthest I drove was from the Walcott at I-80, Iowa 80 there, and I drove to St. George, Utah, one time straight. So all the way across to Salt Lake City and basically to the Nevada border. And that's crazy. That's crazy. That was many years ago, by the way. You don't have a problem with the ELD. You have a problem with the slowest speed limit. The speed limit should be faster, and the truck should go at 70, 75. That would help. That would help a lot. Boost everybody up. You drive a 2005 W900 550 Cat coal hauler. Wow. No DEF, no ELD in Utah, $200 a day. There you go, right? So you don't need it out there. 10% per settlement, that adds up. What is 10% of what? 23 hours is your record. It is not safe. Exactly. I mean, I left on, Thursday morning or whatever, and I got down there Friday afternoon. I mean, that's a long drive. And I thought, man, that's crazy. I slept easily through the next day. I went to bed at like 4 or 5 p.m. and slept till the next morning. Last week in Virginia, you ran into a guy training at England. Tell me why I had 2 other trainees. Oh, you found a 3-bunk truck. I haven't been able to find one. One of them bumped in your trailer while you're doing diesel. Nice. Tell me why I had 2 other trainees. Because they have trucks with 3 beds in them now. They're special made just for England. Yeah, if companies could do it, they would make you drive 24/7. Epidemic, exactly. So the electronic log holds them back as well. Some of these companies putting driver-facing cameras. You won't work for a place. And some are putting in the sleeper. I haven't seen one in the sleeper. I think that would be an even bigger problem. I think that is a problem. I don't see them doing that. I mean, that could lead to lawsuits immediately. The windshield's going to be the only place the camera goes. The ELD wouldn't be bad if they changed the hours of service, but we have to, whatever the rules are, you need to figure out how to make money under the rules, not think, oh, I wish they would change them. What are the rules and how do I make money under these rules? The company that makes the Goose seat, which is Seeing Machines, right? Beat the truck show showing off a new Goose button driver managers can use. The driver manager doesn't have to use it. The seat wakes you up itself. If the thing on the windshield thinks you're sleeping or tired, it gooses you up your butt while you're driving. It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. Slip seating makes your skin crawl. Yeah, why are we slip seating sleepers? It's just for the benefit of a company to make money. So what they should be doing is paying twice as much because these trucks are being used all the time, but they don't. Starting with night in Vegas on Monday. Yeah, let us know how it goes. If you get on, what people tell me about Knight and Swift and these companies, once you get on, if you can get onto a dedicated run, it seems to be not too bad of a place. Why do you never see Walmart at truck stops? They probably park at the store. That's how I would do it, right? If you're lucky enough to get an assigned truck at Walmart, it gets slip seated while you're home time, and that's a fact that people don't know about. Trucker's coach. Yeah, so you're saying even if it's your truck, it's not really your truck if you go home. That's ridiculous. Your cousin drove for England back in the day, and they were all right. Yeah, many years ago they might have been okay, back in the 60s. Edgar, you think that 16 hours for new drivers is low? I agree. They do pay overtime after 40 and $30 a day for food. Well, couldn't believe that my company got 3 drivers immediately. So if you're at 18 and you worked 10 hours a day and got $30 a day, you're really $21 an hour plus overtime on the 18. It's looking better. That's better, right? Because you're getting this $30, which presumably is like them giving you per diem. So the food allowance would be non-taxed. That's like getting $40 a day. Now we're at $22. It's better. That's better. That's better. Shows your wife. Not here. Do you have a recommended GPS brand? Yeah, I don't. You know what I use for GPS is Google Maps. The trucking GPS ones, I haven't tested all of them or anything. Our ELD has built-in Garmin in it, and it's horrible. So Garmin, hey, if you're listening, your GPS that you have, the truck one, is horrible. So it takes you down roads you shouldn't go down. So I think you should learn the roads on a paper map and use Google Maps to show which exit to turn or where the street is. But otherwise, just you're going to have to common sense it. I'm not a fan of them yet. Amanda, you've been saying run by the book since 88. We'll make big changes. Exactly. Holy mackerel, Amanda. If we would just run 100% by the book for a few days, everything gets changed. Oh, truckers coach. They'll just take less experienced drivers. All right. Well, that's what they get for lowering their pay. Then they have to lower their standards. Now you got to drive a can't stop at every truck stop to visit the buffet. Well, that stinks. All Walmart did was get rid of the one-shot chance you get during your driving and pre-trip skills test. So, right, I've heard that you can fail that, or they changed the way they test. They're lowering their standards. Let's be honest about it. Majority of accidents are caused by underspeed. If everybody would go the same speed, oh my gosh. Nothing like driving an I-5 when it's a 2-lane highway. Yes. Coach has some good videos also. You both have great info for work. I appreciate that, and he absolutely does. Everybody should go watch him, and he comes on live during the week and stuff. Totally agree. Say what you will about Werner, but the company owner swears up and down his trucks will never have driver-facing cameras. Good. They shouldn't. So it'll be like Walmart, though. Remember, the stores used to be good, too. And then Sam Walton died, and the stores all went to pot. So this same thing will probably happen here. But at least for now, we have that benefit from them. Richard went to do taxes, found out I don't get per diem. That's correct. We've mentioned that on the show a few times. As a W-2 driver. That's correct. Have the option love 1099. Should I take it? No. You should still do W-2, be an employee, because 1099, there's no option. They don't get to decide if you're an employee or an independent contractor. What they're saying is we would rather misclassify you as an independent contractor. No. W-2, you're an employee. DOT food slip seats if you're on the 4 and 4. They did mention that because they didn't want the truck to sit 4 days, you slip seated the truck. But you're making that choice to basically work less than a normal driver and then be slip seated, certainly. But they tell you that up front. Of course, I don't know if Walmart does, probably. But I agree. They didn't want the truck sitting half the time. Totally agree. Richard, you get 65 cents W-2 and 70 cents 1099. The money's not going to convince me. You're not an employee when you're 1099. You're being misclassified. Take the employee amount and pay your taxes. Yeah, let us know about JK. Let us know about Knight. I'd really like to know, are they doing what they said? Is everything they promised you, are they doing it? That's the thing. How are you being treated? Like a professional? Or do you have 9 people in your room? You know what I'm saying? The total differences. You like your job with Carolina Freightways from Eden. Please look into it. I'm sure CF, right? They're doing better down there. Trucker Path app is great, only for big rig routes. I'm not 100% convinced of any of them. Not 100. If they send it to me, I'll try it. But When Garmin, right, the leader in this, has a truck specific app, you have to, on ours, you have to put in all your truck sizes, how much it weighs, how long it is, all the sizes and everything, and it's supposed to give you a truck route and doesn't. And a place like Garmin with tons of money to figure it out, I'm just not convinced of any of these. When you get in the oil field, put your Google map on bicycle, right, or walking. That's really good. You never thought about the pay. Yeah, the allowance makes your pay go up. Yeah, Edgar, if you're getting 30 and that's tax-free as a per diem, which is legal for them to pay you, that's really $40 you'd have to gross. That's another $4 an hour. And then plus overtime on the original amount. So now it's looking like better money. Not too bad. Nav Plus is pretty good. It would take forever to test all these. If somebody's used one, that's 100%. I'd like to know. I don't like just only dedicating the route to that. Route planning, trip planning, it's super important. Get a map and figure your route out, right? What rule of thumb for maximum speed with chains on? 30. Beyond that, if you can run faster than that, you don't need them, and they're going to fly off anyway. So 25, 30, and take off the chains. They're going to break. Gearhead, what's happening? Never be a 1099 employee trucker's coach. Exactly. You're one or the other. And most people, if you're driving somebody else's truck, you're an employee. Let's put it that way. I haven't had somebody able to convince me they're driving someone else's truck that they're a 1099 under the IRS rules. And that's who determines it, not your company. Wait till Fred Myers dies, probably the same thing. Yeah. Until all these people, when they die and it gets handed off to their kids or whatever, then the company goes to pot, just like Walmart did. I mean, the stores used to be nice and everything. I don't even shop there anymore. I won't go into a Walmart. Trucker Path includes all your truck stops. That's on Google Maps too, really. Hey, JK, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Split speeds are a hazard. I agree. Everybody should go the same speed. Shelly's been driving for 3 years. Just had your first tractor tire blowout. Does this count as being a true trucker? No, not until it's a steer tire. And you're in the far left lane. Then it counts. Did I ever do over-the-road sleeper for a month or two? Absolutely. I've been gone as long as 5 months at a time, and I did that for, decades. So, absolutely. CB, good afternoon. Roll gets a local, get 48 and 15 for doping hooks. Gross 1,200. 1,200 gross if you're home, right? That's pretty good. Edgar, you told your wife about Walmart. So she said, go work there to good money. And I said, I can only talk 10 minutes per hour. And she said, is that place prison? Yes, exactly. She's right. You got a good one there. You bought Ram McMalley when it gets started and used it 3 times, put it back in the box. Wasting your money and use Google Maps, truck and pop. Just use Google Maps. Plan out your route. Use the Google Maps. It'll show you, okay, now I know 0.2 of a mile is my turn. But otherwise, these trucking ones, I'm not convinced of them. There may be great ones, and I haven't seen them yet. I'm just not 100% convinced. We're going to spend $400 on $500 on some of these things. I see them at the Loves, and I don't think they're worth it. Lickety split. Remember when we laughed at JB Hunt? Those drivers are glad Sierra England came along. Yes. Hey, Scott. Yeah, you be safe in the bad weather. Prime still has the original owner. Well, not everything is going good, although they've changed a lot of their policies since I originally talked to them, so they may get an update. Shelly, yeah, you need to get the steer tire first. You have a Garmin Desi and have been running for 6 months and use an Atlas, and Garmin does a great job. Hasn't took down a bad road. Our Garmin, which I don't know what the thing is because it's built in, I thought it was horrible. Yeah, I voted doesn't like Prime, exactly. Longest I've stayed out was 13 months. Wow, they forced you to take home time? You're like living on the road, right? Gary wants to know who who I work for, which I don't usually get asked this, so I don't tell people where I work. So that keeps them out of my videos. That I don't have them in my video saying, oh, you're talking about us, so now we don't like your videos. Also, I don't recruit for them, as many drivers on YouTube are just out recruiting for their company, putting their information out. I don't recruit for my company either, even though we have a recruiting bonus. So that keeps them out of my videos, and I don't recruit for them, so I get to say what I want. Find TomTom is 95%. That 5% is going to get a new driver, a ticket, or hit a bridge or something like that. That's the problem. Google should make truck alerts for restricted roads. In the Google Play Store, there is a download for Google Maps to upgrade it to trucks. So, and it's like $180 or something. It's cheaper than a dedicated unit, but there is an app for it. I don't have it though. I've just used the car one. Wilson Trans is working with Prime to help them stay afloat. Hopefully they'll all close. Brickman, you like the show, and post Win the Next Bad Company of the Week every Wednesday. And thank you. Edgar can't believe that Walmart treat people like that. You must surrender your life to them. See, they think they got this great thing going from years ago when it really was a better company to drive for. And so they think, oh, well, we can just do whatever we want to drivers and they just have to tolerate it. Well, turns out you don't have to tolerate it. And the message to send them is we're not going to tolerate it anymore. Most company trucks still use ComData. Yeah, we use ComData. Yeah. The navigation feature was flawless. I don't know about that. ComData is a fueling card. Google Maps driving going down low bridge streets. Look, I'm not telling you to follow Google Maps 100%, but you can route your route out. And then Google Maps, as you're going down a dark street at night, that's the best thing. It's hard to see street signs. But then Google Maps, oh, is it this street? Is it next street? Oh, okay, wait a minute. Google Maps is still 0.4 of a mile. That's what I'm using it for. Not for bridges, not for any of that, not any of those things. So don't 100% follow. Please don't think I'm telling you to follow 100%. No. You still have to do your mapping on a map and know your routes and call the place. And I Google satellite it so I know, where you pull the trucks in is not actually their street address. It's 2 further blocks over. Do all that first. Then we Google Maps it. Matthew's from Nebraska. Trucker Path is good guidance. I haven't used it. I'll have to take your word for it. Michael, did I get a haircut? I went to Haircut Corner where it is half price for a half a head of hair. Prime just increased their cents. See, that's the thing. They've got some raises. I need to get another video about them out. Ice and snow removal from trailers is a concern. Yes. What are my thoughts and opinions? You should get it off if you can, but it's very hard to do. Tickets be issued in accidents and 5 stars. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to take it off the top of a truck, but there's no way to get it off. There are some places you go in where they have the brushes you drive under. But I think you should put a ladder up there and scrape it off? No. There's just no good way to get it off at the moment. So what I tell people, don't follow a truck very close. Get past them so that you don't get gigantic ice sheets coming off. There's no good solution yet. Should it be removed? Yes. It should, but there's no good way to get it off. So there's nothing to do it right now. It's too dangerous to climb up there and take it off. And I don't know if you could stand on a trailer roof anyway. Those clear ones, I wouldn't stand on a piece of plastic. You're in Marion getting loaded, headed to Minnesota after loaded. Well, good luck. Get the heat turned on. Tom is a drum, isn't it? Yes. Where am I from? I'm from Hammond, Indiana originally. And they're currently in Lafayette, Indiana, where we will probably stay. What's the app called? It's in the Google Maps, just trucking, the truck map for Google Maps. It seems like, if I remember, it's just an update to Google Maps and it updates it for truck routing. But I wouldn't trust that either. And it was $100 and some, but that's cheaper than other ones. I wouldn't do it. Steer tar grossed out with organic peroxide. Oh yeah, all right, that counts. That totally counts. Amanda at 65. Well, that would have been a disaster. Did you get to the side of the road safely, I hope? Use Garmin and Ram McNally side by side, truck edition, both waste of time. Exactly. Show different routes when you needed it most, got lucky, and with the cops who were more amused. I wouldn't count on it. Because they're not right enough, it's not worth spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Your company uses a bank card? That's unusual. Would you just Visa the fuel? I guess it's okay, PW, yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It is a big crowd today, considering the thumbnail. These GPS are good for finding truck stops. Yeah, if you don't know where one is, it would help. I agree. Google Maps is flying by in radar. I'm not saying that we use Google Maps 100%, but it's very, very helpful. And for the traffic, turn traffic on in there. Texas is awesome. It's everything's bigger there too. Google Maps has free traffic. Oh, exactly. So we get the and you use it for free traffic. Well worth it because it tracks the speed of all Android powered phones, which is the majority of phones going down a road versus the speed limit of the road. So when the phones slow down, it knows that everybody's slowing down. Brilliant. You always use your company GPS and Google Maps, but use an Atlas first. Wow, awesome. You don't trust the truck GPNs, but nothing beats Google for traffic. Google is 100% traffic compliant. I love it. And it's free. I mean, it's free. Drivers report Tyson food scales reading low by 400 pounds. Got a ticket at the weigh station. Well, you should always CAT scale a load if you're unsure, right? Because they guarantee the weight. CAT scale's always done that. Weight is totally guaranteed at a CAT scale. And as far as I know, every company that I've ever talked to, ever worked at, if you're a company driver, they've always paid for the scale. So I've never had any issues with that. Red Viking Rick realized he's an employee yet. I don't know anything about that for sure. Have I heard about the GM closures in Canada and the U.S. mainly? Yes. Will it affect trucking jobs? Absolutely. All the drivers that used to pull cars out of there? Absolutely. All the drivers that bring parts in there? Certainly. There'll be drivers out of work. The good thing, those drivers can find other jobs. The real problem are the people that work in the plant. And that bothers me too, because the Blazer's made in Mexico and they wanted to make it in Lordstown, just as an aside. But they're making that Blazer in Mexico and it bothers me when it could have been made here. Well, what does Walmart do to drivers that make them so bad? Well, you only get to use your phone for an hour at 10 minutes at a time, 6 times a day. I think that's ridiculous. And even farther than that is the ridiculousness of slip seating a sleeper truck. I'm not going to come in a sleeper and slip seat it. Not happening. Neil, half a head of hair means you're twice as handsome. That's what they tell you there to get a tip, really. But that is actually true. Half a head of hair is half price. So be careful in Minnesota. Nothing but black ice. I bet. Considering what it did here, up there, it's got to be colder. Got to use a satellite view to see your drive location. Exactly. But do all it before you leave, right? So you know right away where they're your GPS. Yeah, this is part of trip planning. Call them, GPS them, satellite view them, get all that done, map it out, then we take off on our route. Then you got it made. Hey, Amanda, I bet you did. That would have been something. Holy moly. If that would have wrecked, how many people would have come out for that crap? You'd have made the news. Looking to buy a straight truck and tie into load brokers. Any advice? Wow, I'm a company driver here and a semi-driver, so I don't have a lot of advice. Trucker Coach is on here. He does way more of that. Would be able to, he may not be on here now, but that'd be the person to go check out for that kind of thing. Trucker over 30 years experience shared the Trucker Path app with me, and he was also a trucking instructor. He may be getting paid for it, or he may just like it, but I haven't used it. Maybe it's the greatest thing ever, but I haven't used it. Saw Steven's driver use a scale with his tandem slid all the way back. Maybe he's getting a baseline. Let's put it that way. He's just getting a baseline. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Haven't had a full steer blowout, just steel belts blow through. Yeah, it's a mess, right? Because we can't limp that one to the truck stop. Can you just make it to the truck stop? No. OSHA won't allow you to climb on top of your trailer without fall gear. Yeah, I agree that they probably don't allow it, and whether they did or not, there's no way that is safe. So there's really no good way to get the snow off the top of a trailer, right? Maybe go through the blue beacon. That's the only way, but you can't do that every day. They just don't have a good way to get the snow off trailers. And then when you get a trailer that's been sitting over a weekend, and then on Monday you pick it up, and it's Blizzard City behind you, right? Trucking is a money scam. I don't know about that. Trucking is a good paycheck for your whole life. Google Satellite is worth it because you can see the entrances and how the yards lay out. Totally. I totally do that. They have an address, but that may not be where the trucks go. You may need to go 2 streets down to the 4th driveway. That's what the satellite view is all about. Oh, that driveway, that's where I go, not right here. That saves your life better than all these $400 GPS units. You use Google Maps and Rand McNally. They both match. You follow the route. If there's traffic, you don't care because you get paid by the hour. So traffic doesn't matter to you. Exactly. Better for you, right? Anything 4 feet over the ground, yes. When are the weight loss coming? Right. Well, I didn't know what to do. I thought about that and I thought, I don't know what to actually post about that. Show me doing weird stuff or whatever. Not sure about that, right? Down to maybe 10 so far, though. Factory workers can go drive trucks. Yes, they could. The factory workers could go drive trucks because let's say you've been working in the factory there. You're 50 years old. There's not some other job being like you're going to go work somewhere and make the money they were making there. So they could move to another factory to that, but then you got to move your whole family. I mean, it's a problem. Whenever you link yourself to one thing like that, it's a problem. You don't understand why companies don't pay a good wage to truckers. It depends where you work, right? Shut down for one day, that wouldn't do any good because you wouldn't get enough people to do it. The only way a shutdown works is you shut down one company for a day. Have all their trucks at one place stop and then tell that company owner, you're going to give us a raise or your trucks don't move. Shutting all the trucks down just gets the National Guard out to arrest everybody. Not hard to pay hourly. Your time clock is your electronic log. Yes, that's the best way. There's no reason that they can't pay hourly. Why is everybody paid by the hour right off their electronic log that everybody wanted? You hate Prime, they're slow. They tell their drivers to go slow. They can go faster. They tell them 58 miles an hour is what they recommend. And so a lot of the drivers do it because they don't know better. You've had loads with tandems all the way back. It just depends on the freight. Depends on the freight and the state, which rhymes, right? But either way, if you can run them, you're allowed to run them back there in some states. And some people are just too lazy to move them. It depends on where you're going. Since I'm in my extreme upper 30s, what's your plan for retirement? No plans for retirement. Trucking is such a great thing that you just do it until you drop dead right in the seat. What can we do about the parking crisis? That is the real problem, right? It isn't a driver shortage, it's parking. And look, I-69, which is a good example in Indiana, now from Evansville all the way past Bloomington, it's an interstate. There is not one rest area or anything on that road. Why not? Why wasn't there built on there 1,000 parking spaces on each side of the road, 3 times on there for truck parking? That's the kind of thing. And the only way to get that is through legislation because private places, it costs a fortune to build them. So that's one solution is to get it built. There's all kinds of room there to build it, and they haven't done it. It's crazy. What's the bridge law for a 48-foot trailer? I think you can run those all the way, right? You can have them slid forward. Bridge law has nothing to do except with tail swing. Right. UPS pays me hourly and pays for all your hours. Yes, that's the way to do it. So you get paid for all your time, hooking up, right? Whatever you do, you're paid. That's the way all drivers should be paid. Then the whole electronic log thing goes away. Think about it. If everybody got paid by the hour, you wouldn't care about the log. You wouldn't care about sitting. You wouldn't care. You could be getting paid. Man, it would have made a quarter-mile crater if it went over 10 degrees for more than 10 minutes. Well, can you run a quarter mile in less than 10 minutes? That's the question then. They should just have one line for all time. Then you're going to drive 14 hours a day. Schneider, man, listen, if I change my lease company, do I need a new truck and trailer, or is it still valid? Well, if you're leasing the truck, I think that companies will want an inspection at the new place, probably, but I don't know, right? It's company driver here. I haven't leased a truck. I don't recommend it to people. So you certainly could call them and see what they have to say about it. I'm going to say probably, since most of them want a physical, they'll probably want to inspect your truck too. Hey, Kimberly, thanks, and thanks for coming out here. Appreciate it. To some extent, should we boycott GM vehicles? All right, to cars, since I'm a big car nut. Okay, I boycott all new GMs because a lot of them have the start-stop on them, which the car stops, and you can't defeat it. Okay, so I don't like that. There should be a button to turn it off. But look, when they could make the car here in the United States and don't on purpose to save money, I don't buy it. And you can see where your car is made by looking at the VIN number. The first digit of the VIN of your vehicle is the country code that it was made. A 1, 4, or 5, and it was made in the United States. So 2 is Canada, 3 is Mexico, and for any other numbers or letters there, you can easily Google it up, and there's a whole description. There's 30 or 40 of them, so you can probably know more than 36, right? Because that's 26 plus 10, but that's how you can find out where your car was made. But 1, 4, or 5 is the United States. Schneider is safety Nazis. Well, there's nothing wrong with being big on safety. It's for your grade 8 report on why the USA is so racist. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. Trucking may be the least racist thing because everybody that comes in gets paid the same. If you have this experience, you get paid. It isn't based on anything, and they can't raise or lower your pay. I think it's probably one of the more equal fields to get into. Your personal opinion is Trucker Path used to be good, and there are some things to make it better. A lot of advertisements. Well, is there a way to pay for it and then get the ads removed? I mean, look, let's be honest. An app or whatever, people have to make money. So if someone's going to spend all their time making an app and then you don't want to pay for it, they got to run ads on it to make money on it. There's nothing wrong with that. If somebody what if they put in 100 hours to that? Should they do that for nothing? No. So, either watch the ads or pay for the app. Usually there's a way to pay to get the ads removed. The mail or UPS starts at 24. I wouldn't work for the post office now, that's for sure. Because how much longer are they going to be around? They fired you because you wouldn't haul alcohol? That stinks. Blue Beacon does not do snow and ice removal. It's dangerous to climb up there, but there's no solution. Not really. Well, I was just thinking that getting it washed, not for them to have it specifically remove snow, but that the hot water might take some of the snow off the truck, really. But no, there's no good way. I've seen a few warehouses where you can drive under these brushes that brush it off the top of your truck, but there's no good way to get it off there yet, really. None that I know of, other than waiting for spring. Trucker Path is awesome. It's good at finding Loves and Walmart. Well, some Walmarts you can't park. Does it have a way in the app to show you what kind of parking there is at the Walmart parking lot? JK says, boycott GM. Yeah, we'll drive Fords over here, even though I have a Chevy Sonic. The way my computer pays per hour is that they look at your electronic log. Oh, they pay on duty and driving. Oh, good. They don't pay for off duty and you don't get paid for your break because you're off duty, but presumably you're not working. That's the way that it should be. Drivers would definitely log all their waiting time if they got paid for on-duty time all the time. You definitely log all your waiting time. That's a great way to do it. You've been driving so long you use carrier pigeons. Throw the pigeon out the window, wait for it to come back. That's great. The government cannot make truck companies pay a certain wage, but they can mandate how their wages are calculated. Or aren't they calculated like a taxi? Can you imagine paying PC miler for a taxi? Well, it's so much a mile, right? But I guess it's a mileage as the car drives. So, yeah. No, but government can't mandate your wage, but you can. Drop dead in Kimberly. Yeah, exactly. You would totally drop dead in it. The railroad companies start at 30. There are places that pay pretty good. What does JB Hunt mean? Oh, people have plenty of words for it. Can I recommend a reefer company? Yeah, what about Martin? Looking to go back to driving a truck and get away from a desk job. All right. In the current state of things, is it profitable? I'm making 60, but you have a dead-end job. So you can have a dead-end trucking job and make 60. No, look, seriously, I'm not somebody that says, oh, you have to make a certain amount of money and you're going to make $3 million in the next 2 years. There's money to be made in trucking. Totally money. And it's not going to be the same thing every day. Nobody's going to be sitting there telling you you have to wait for your break. It's 15 minutes. What are we going to have for lunch today? That's the big deal at the office. Forget about it. Forget about that. You dictate your day. So if that's something you want to do, get out there and do it. DOT is doing it better company. Absolutely. I love DOT Foods as a place to work. And now with the raise, it's even better. They're giving a raise, as you said. Nagel ISA is a good reefer company. I never heard of them. Right. Amanda, thanks for coming in. And we'll see you next Monday at 1, certainly. Edgar is a day cab. So the company you work for wants you idle. That's pretty good. They said turn it off only when you get to the hotel. It's bad to not idle the engine. Well, look, if they want you to idle it and it's their truck, right? I guess run it. It's not bad for the engine. That's somebody that's been in trucking for a long time, where it used to be a problem. It isn't. They're better off being turned off now, and it's even in the owner's manual and stuff. But if it's their truck and they say to run it, I'd run it, and it keeps you warm or cool. Fine, that's fine with me. What are special laws in California that new drivers need to know? Move out of California is the number one law of California. 55 speed limit out there too. Edgar says DOT Foods is a good company. I mean, plus another raise. Everybody trucking does the same job. No need here in this industry. There's plenty of need for drivers still, because people come and then they go, and that's the problem. So there's always room for another person. Mega carrier trucking is not worth it. It depends. I get tons of people that write in from a mega carrier. They're on a dedicated route that seem to love it. Build a wall. Don't forget to gate all, so we have the stuff. Yeah, you have to get your stuff back and forth through it. 40-foot rule on trailer tandems from the Kingpin. It depends, right? On state by state on that stuff. USPS delivery drivers get it bad, but not the CD holders. I wouldn't work for the post office. I mean, who mails letters? Think about it. So I think it'd be a real problem, long term. It would bother me long term. How do you become as successful as me? That would not be difficult, right? So just a driver like everybody else. So just go out and drive, and that's it. What everybody should do, though, I do recommend find a company and stay there. You'll do much better if you can find a place and stick with it at a company that you like. Destiny can email him. Right. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Ivona. They should have given the driver no reefers. Mark, in your view at this point, is there really a trucker shortage? No, there's no shortage. When England can put 3 bunks in their truck, there's certainly no shortage of drivers. They get tons of drivers. There's a shortage of pay in the industry and of good treatment. People come in, they get booted around in the industry. They're not treated well. They don't get any money. They sit around and they quit the industry and go, oh, this is horrible. And companies are like England. Oh, well, our people only stay 4 months. What's going on? There must be a shortage. No, it's made up by the companies that are claiming there's a shortage. They're the problem. So absolutely not. Oh, Schaefer for reefers. I didn't think about that too, right? Schaefer would be another good one. Your company said drivers will get lazy on hourly pay. And you said fire them. I totally agree. Tell them, you know what? I think companies get lazy on mileage pay because it benefits them. That's ridiculous. What they're saying is you're all cheats. You know what? You'd all cheat us if we paid you properly. That's what they're saying to you. I never liked that argument. Drivers will get lazy. That's totally not true. That totally isn't true. And if you get paid hourly, you should do a day's work. Don't hose people on it. Same as when you get paid mileage. When parking on a steep grade shocks are necessary, those days you don't want your truck leaving without you. Drivers, don't let your truck leave without you. It turns into a really bad day. Anytime towing is late. Holy mackerel. Ivona's going to be on the demerits for that. Roller weenies for lunch. That is going to be a great lunch. Roller wieners are super delicious. Any account should pay $1,000 gross a week. That's your cost. You should get a $2,000 a week on the road, I think. Really. I think road drivers should get $2,000 a week. I think they'd get drivers. Drivers would stay. They'd have their pick up better drivers. A road should get $2,000. It doesn't pay that yet. But it's getting there. But I think that's what a good road driver, an experienced road driver should get. What about Averett, Southeastern, and Old Dominion? I've talked about Old Dominion. I like that place. Southeastern is probably the same type of place. I don't know anything about Averett, although there are people that have done videos about it that seem to like it. Companies shouldn't be greedy. Neither should brokers. We're overregulated. Yeah, brokers and companies. $1,500 a week is the minimum, at least $75. You should get $2, but you should get $75 at least. Over the road is only worth it if you don't have rent. It pays pretty good now, right? And that depends what your rent is too. If you're living in San Francisco versus here. You can't live on $1,000 a week. You better adjust your living, but I agree over the road is not worth it for the money. Hey, if you got 9 cars, you're going to have to make some money. Bar none or Crete? Absolutely. Yes to both of those. Damien, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kami, California, yes. Wash your truck there too if you're going out there. Angela, thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate that. Does DOT Foods have team driving? We'll find that. Ivona will tell us that. Every should start logging their waiting time. You should always log your waiting time on duty. You should use your 70 hours and show the companies they have to work within your limits. The companies would learn if we were to log legal. Log legal. How long would then they be like, holy mackerel, we don't have any trucks to move. Stop working for nothing for these companies and running illegal for a company. It's just crazy. Why do truck companies pay for they are? Why only per mile? Because drivers, well, look, that's the way it's always been done over the years, right? And so they just continue to do it now. And so if they pay you by the mile, they can have you sit and say, well, the first 2 hours are free or whatever. If they paid everybody by the hour, they'd have a real pay problem. They'd actually have to pay people for what they're worth. Okay, I didn't know they had teams. That's a good answer from DOT Foods. Local trucking is generally hourly. And so that's why you see local driving like Yellow and Holland and all those local companies that they don't lose drivers nearly as fast as everybody else because they're getting paid for all of their time. That's why everybody should get paid for their time. Is there a shortage of good, reliable drivers? I don't think so. I think there's good drivers that just don't want to stay in the industry because of the way the pay has gone. You cannot idle new trucks with DEF. No APU. How do you get them started? No. I ran mine in the cold weather. I have DEF. I let that thing run. I've let it run over an entire weekend sitting in the yard. So absolutely, you can run the truck with DEF. It's up to the company as long as they allow it to idle. So, but the truck itself, it'll run. Absolutely. When it was cold those couple weeks ago, that thing ran the whole week and then over the weekend. So certainly. Why do they punish drivers and treat them badly? Because they have an endless supply and they don't really want people to stay. They get a lot of these companies, people don't realize they get money from the government. So they get you through the door. And so then they can go, okay, we got a driver. So even if they fire you or whatever, they boot you out of there, they still get paid. So they got their money. They don't care to training you. They've got their money initially right away. And that's a huge problem that should end as well. Schneider flies you to orientation. That's pretty good. I've seen a few places doing that. If you guys are ready to get out and make 23 an hour, straight truck, home every night, that's pretty good in a straight truck. Ivona can idle her new truck. Yes. Because the trucks with the DEF, you can totally idle the trucks. It's up to your company. They must not be allowing it to be idled. You started pulling prime trailers. They make you hit a mileage goal if your company, so you have to go 58 miles over. Just got here. Sorry, it's been asked already. What do I think about Uber Freight? Well, Richard, I don't do that much with owner-operators. That's more for truckers, coach, and people like that. I think it's interesting, though I did read that on the Uber Freight app, you're going to be able to rate the shippers and receivers. So if you wait somewhere a long time, there's going to be a rating system on it. I think that'll be an interesting change to how people pick up loads. FedEx as an independent driver. A lot of these FedEx they 1099 you. So I'm not a fan of that. And if you're driving somebody else's truck, you are an employee. Truckers Coach says Creed is a good company. Yeah, Truckers Coach, I put them out there as a company doing it better as well. I thought they had a pretty good program, and I've recommended the place. All FedEx drivers are strictly 1099, over the road or local delivery. Well, I've seen ads for employee. I guess you're working for a contractor, though, so maybe that depends. They're running ads. A contractor's running an ad, so totally different that way. Bar None is owned by Swift Knight, but it's run independently. That always surprised me. I'm like, why is the pay so high at Bar None? And then why didn't that migrate over to other places? Your buddy drives local for Yellow. He's very happy and pays well. Yeah, because he's getting paid for all of his time, right? So bingo. Coach, what is your email? What are your thoughts on the company? Yeah, Coach, what's your email if you want to put it out there? Is it a log? Is it law I log for file stops? I don't know what a file stop is. Just like Abilene Truck Line is owned by Swift. It's always surprising when a place like Swift owns, Swift Knight, and then they own Bar None, and Bar None starts people at 60 cents. And then I'm like, why does Swift not start people at 60 cents? And you're not making 60 cents at Swift after a year. It doesn't make any sense to me. ShipX free health for employees. Yes. ShipX has a good salary program and gets free health care for employees, which can save a ton of money. And there are other places doing that as well. Central Oregon Truck Company has free health care for your whole family. So I think that's really interesting. And so we have that versus places that charge $200 a week for it. Holland doesn't pay for a layover. Walmart does. Walmart, I will say, is one of the only places that pays you to sleep in the truck. Will mega carriers go bankrupt if they pay by hour? No, absolutely not. They make tons of money. Look at their annual reports. They make tons of money. DOT Foods test 25. Make sure the HR manager gives you the actual time for the road test. Wow. So yeah, they're strict, but then they get better pay there. Is it a law I log fueling? Yes. BW, it is the law. Anything you do to, upon, or with the truck like that is logged, including fueling the truck. So legally, it's on duty time. How am I paid? I get a flat salary because of what I do here. So I am paid by salary now since I came to shorten my day to do more trucking answers. How do I feel about self-driving trucks? Well, if you've ever seen the movie Terminator, that's how I feel about it. But when they start killing us, that's a real problem. Purposely when they talk to each other. But no, seriously, it's decades away. Self-driving trucks are decades away. My truck can't even figure out half the time if there's a line on the road. It's the radar thing goes out in the rain. I mean, we got a long time before a semi can drive itself across a country with nobody in it. Long time. What happened with the proposed log rule changes? Okay, they have said that they are going to announce that in March, the end of March, what they plan to do with the proposed log rule changes. And as soon as the FMCSA announces what they're going to do, I will be all over it. What is your rule of thumb for fuel use for idling? A gallon or less an hour, and always idle at high idle if your truck will allow it. Generally less than a gallon now an hour. Mileage pay has always been a joke. 10% of companies pay hub miles. Yeah, it's hard to find that, isn't it? They find creative ways to steal money. You're not being paid a mile. You're being paid a percentage. Totally agree. Totally agree. It should be paid by the hour. Charles, hello. Thanks for coming in today. JK recently changed your reader process. So you need anything but the automatic. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Can I recommend a good? I listen to podcasts. So, which there'll be a podcast for this show coming soon, right? Once I can get the thing downloaded. But this show will have its own podcast. But that's what I listen to. So I haven't done anything with audiobooks. GP Truck out of South Carolina is owned by Southeastern. Everybody owns everybody else. I've owned it, yes. So they make more money. That's exactly correct, right? Not true in FedEx. FedEx Freight are company drivers and get paid hourly in W-2s. Yeah, the FedEx Freight, which we have a terminal here, those are all employees. And I've seen some of the ground, those doubles and stuff that run around, at least advertising that you're an employee of a contractor. Like we have 30 trucks and, it says W-2 right in their ads, but I guess you're still an employee of a contractor. It depends how you want to do it there. Certainly, if you're driving somebody else's truck, you're an employee. And so don't take it any other way. Don't let the company make all that extra money on you. Mainly because of breakdown. What do you think of line haul versus over the road or local? I think that the best way over the road is to go a dedicated route, especially with the parking problem, so that you know what you're doing. And I think if you want to be home, then get a local job. But I mean, general freight over the road has got to be the hardest way to do it. At a company that just hauls general freight, where you don't know what you're doing, you got to wait on the road for a load. Maybe an out and back is also okay. So you go out and come back. But I think general freight is a really tough way to make money because you don't know where you're going. It's tough to get parking. A dedicated run where you do the same thing every day would be very beneficial on the road, so that you know what you're going to get. You can figure out parking and all that. Parking is the biggest problem, I think, right now in the trucking industry, other than the pay, which has to change. But for all drivers in general, parking is a huge disaster. You can solve that with a dedicated run. You have 30 years of experience. Excellent, but haven't driven in 5 years. Companies won't hire me. Yep. You don't have any recent experience. Doesn't that stink? So a lot of companies want you to have recent experience. I will tell you, you are somebody that should talk to an owner operator or a small company where you can go talk to the boss and say, I have all this experience, especially if you can prove it. And talk to them and say, look, you own the company. I'm a driver. Let's work together. And you can get a job. I've heard people write in and say, yeah, that works. So for somebody like you, that might be the best way to get a job. Why is trucking such cutthroat to workers compared to, say, union or other industries? Because they can. Drivers tolerate it because there's a lot of new drivers and they don't know any better. The law's not on your side with overtime and minimum wage laws. It's a real disaster. Maximum Overdrive, yes, exactly. Also, Trucks as a movie. If you remember that with Timothy Busfield, the trucks all killed us. That's coming. All people that are complaining about the pay, the choice is either go to prison or do over the road. I don't know about that, right? I don't consider road driving to be prison, certainly. You get to see the whole country. America's the greatest pay difference between the CEO and employees in the developed world. Yeah, but we don't set the pay here by the government, right? It's all free. You can choose the pay that you will accept. You also hear prime lease operators say they make $2,000 a week. They do say it. They do say it. Is it worth it? Not to me. I don't think that's enough. You can come close to that as a company driver without all the hassles of it. So not to me, it isn't worth it. BW, will I please run for president? I'm the smartest guy that he knows. You need to know more people. That's for sure. Will I run for president? No. If drafted, I'll not run. And if I am chosen, I'll not serve. What do grocery stores hate drivers and drivers? Why do they hate drivers and drivers hate grocery stores? Well, at the grocery warehouses, at least, you sit there for 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours. I sat at Craft right getting loaded and unloaded. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And the stores, why do they hate them? Drive around the back of the parking lot and look at all the bags that drivers leave in the parking lot. They can't even walk in the store that's open to use a garbage can. That's why. And so I understand why they boot drivers out of there. It's understandable. If you work there, do you want to go clean that up? I mean, let's be honest about it. So we have to, we're our own problem a lot of times, and that's a shame. But we give our industry its own black eye. Any advice on working for decent petroleum? Yeah, we'll go work for a fuel company that fills up the truck stops, like the Love's truck that's in there. I see at night a lot. Pilot, go drive for that. And then you always have somewhere to park. You can park right at the truck stop. But seriously, those really usually pay good. And you always know where you're going. They're easy to find, and you know there's going to be room for you in there. 18-wheelers need to avoid North Carolina. It's nicknamed the Diamondback and has 190 curves. That's awesome. But I think they have a sign there, right? No trucks, or trucks not recommended or something. I think it says for trucks. Frontline workers should be paid CEO money. Well, I don't know about that. What truck stop has the best sit-down restaurant? I always like Petro restaurants. I thought they were very well suited to drivers because you had a large choice at the buffet. Mark needs to be the ambassador of trucking. Well, that's pretty good. I could get a card for that. Who would I be the ambassador to? Oh, I could be the ambassador to Washington, D.C. Seems like the endorsements can pay better whether you're actually using them. You always encourage getting endorsements. Many get paid better just for having them. I don't know if you actually get paid better for having them or not. You should get them, especially the ones that just are a written test. Go get them. Have your hazmat, tanker, and doubles on your license all the time because you never know when you'll use them. I got them when I got my license, and I've used all of them at some point or another. I've had them on there. So they've all paid off for me. And I think you can go in and say, look, I have all the endorsements. I have whatever you need driven, I can do it. And it gives you opportunity if you want to leave and go somewhere else. You already have had the endorsement. So say 10 years later, you want to change jobs and you go, I want to work over here with doubles. You can say, I've had my doubles for 10 years, kind of, which is true. So I think it just helps for that kind of stuff. You sat at CNS for 16 hours. That's crazy, right? Did you get paid for it? Probably not, or not all of it. You have a dedicated run in a day cab. I'm not sure if there will be parking at the hotel. Well, at least you're getting a hotel, right? A lot of these people At night, there's no parking on the road. If you get in after 5 p.m. in a lot of cities, there's no parking for anybody. That's why a dedicated route that allows you to park, especially, is a good way to do it. Have I ever gotten into a crash? No. Tyler, I did have a good driving record of no accidents, which I'm proud of, and I try to maintain it. I did get lucky for my first couple years, probably, but I strictly maintained safety since then. Say companies like Sunoco, wow, nice. Exxon, all gas stations that we don't have here. Do they pay hourly? Some of them pay per load, I've seen, but usually when I see these tankers, it's by the hour. Usually. Because one of them advertises 33-mile length of haul home every day. I think that's a really good ad, too. I grossed $3,700 as a lease operated RTI dedicated. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's more like what it should be. Because this $2,000 is close to what a company driver makes. You take a large risk to run your own business, you should make more money than a good company driver makes. Steven, I don't look like buffet belt size. That's because the camera cuts you off right here. Underneath, 800 pounds. Just looked up Arnon. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm really surprised, right? And I put them out there as a company doing it better. So you should at least give them a call. They're worth calling, right? If you didn't want to work at your dairy job running milk, you'd try Bar None. They seem good. But the fact that Swift owns them scares you. Look, they can't lower the pay. You can't, they're not going to do that. It's not going to go to 47 cents or something. They just can't do it. Everybody would quit. So I wouldn't be that concerned about it. And the good thing about being owned by a large company is all the benefits of a large company. A good company will reimburse you for endorsements or at least go half with you. They should. I never got paid for them. They do pay for hazmat here because they want you to have it, which I see a lot of companies do. It's not an unusual thing. So your hazmat can get paid for by most companies. NJ Fun Friendly, get all the endorsements. Yeah, get them and keep them on there. You never know when they'll use them. Angela, tractor trailer overturned on 226 where they're not supposed to be, right? Driver's okay, but told the law enforcement he was going by GPS. Right. Here's another GPS that takes you down a road that you theoretically could be on, but shouldn't go down. You unloaded it Friday at 7, waited 8 hours to reload. That's crazy. Unless you're getting paid for it. See, if you got paid for it, that would be good. Have I had to stay at a bad motel? Yeah, over the years, I'm sure, right? Any motel with a number in it is probably not great. You should upgrade your life from those hotels. When you said 2,000, you meant take home, right? But that's gross, unless you're talking after taxes and everything. So if it's 2,000, that would be tough to match a company driver at a place like Central Oregon Truck or ShipX, where they have free health insurance that you would have to buy in the open market. I think that's close. 3,700 would be more like it. Don't have a preventable on the MVR, but the company says driver was discharged for an accident. Oh, that's a problem. Is that problematic? Yes. But because it's not on your MVR, doesn't mean it isn't on you didn't have an accident at your company. You'll have to get in touch with that company, and you may have to actually have them write a lawyer letter if it isn't true, because there's no other way to do anything about it. What is my advice on companies that pay percentage? I never like it because I never know if I'm being hosed by the company. How do I know that what they say they're getting is the actual amount? Plus, if the rates go down, you start losing money, right? If you get 30% of $3, it's different than 30% of $2 and then 30% of $1. So you have no control over it. I don't like it. I'd rather have an amount that I know it's going to be. You left Swift 2016 Freightliner on the side in flames. That's not great. They'll probably write that up too. Okay, anyone want information from Swift, right? So Bar None won't take MS. That isn't any good either. Every company applied in my youth, there was a waiting line and you were lucky to get the job. That doesn't happen now. Why do companies drag in people from the streets? Because the people go out the back door just as fast as they come in. Every company that runs all these ads, they're the ones that are complaining about a shortage. Okay, you don't see Yellow complaining about a big driver shortage. Because trucking has 100% turnover. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Or more. A lot of places are more than that. Percentages for busters. Some people love percentage, and I'm just never been a fan of it. What if what are you going to get running empty? 30% of nothing, because I ran a flatbed on the road on percentage, and that's how it worked there. So maybe it's changed since then, since dinosaur days. But you don't get to control the rate. You have no saying whether they take that load or not. So they say, well, we took a load for $1.20, and so here's your 30% of that. You have nothing to say about it, and I just don't like it. Yeah, iPhone, right. I don't like when you take a crack hound to anywhere either, which is another crazy way to travel. Only as a new driver. Beyond that, your company should provide you a flight or a rental car. Maybe as a new driver they bring you in, but it would be nice if they brought the drivers in on a rental. Bar none likes to run the night shift. Well, that'd be okay with me. I like to run nights. It's 100% turnover. Don't forget about the people that almost did it and then decided to leave. Yeah, it's like 150% turnover. Exactly. You are my age. Extreme upper 30s, and wish for a second career. I'm now leery of trucking. Get in, come on in. They'll hire you. Any age is not a problem. Not a problem at all. Generally speaking, when filling, should you fill them to the top? I fill up. It depends how much weight you have. We don't run heavy, so I don't have that problem. If you're loaded heavy, it depends. I fill it up. That's a each load kind of thing. Please take the crack on to DC run for president. I'm not taking a crack on to anywhere. No, I'd rather walk to DC. People switch jobs without a good reason. A lot of people do switch jobs for a very good reason. I will say that. All carriers are bad the first couple of years. Well, you can do better or worse, but a lot of the ones that hire new people are not great. Hillbilly in Philly, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. In Philadelphia, the only hillbilly in Philadelphia. Went to a company that trimmed their own driver. 21 people on my cycle, all but 3 their first 2 or 3 months. They train their own drivers. Yeah, how many are still there? That's the interesting question. When we look at these places, they just don't stay. And when you get 3 people in a truck, how long are you really going to stay there? And what kind of culture is there at that company that's just going to pack people in the truck as heavy, as possible? What do I need to haul supersized loads? What's the average pay? The pay is generally better. You don't get as many miles. And what do you need to haul? It depends on the state. But generally, whatever your company wants, and you can get out there and haul them. Now, I haven't hauled these bigger loads, but I had some oversized on a flatbed, and that didn't require anything other than put the signs on the truck. Be a truck driver, but ditch the family because they're going to hold you back and suck your money down. Well, that's somebody that's not having good family time. A supportive family may be better, right? As Dr. Phil would say on that. Ivona is so hungry, you wish you had a roller wiener. Sometimes they're 2 for $3 out there. Bar none runs. He'll run out of the Northeast. Well, don't they pay extra out there? Do they have the green zone? That's Heartland. Interviewing tomorrow. Where are we going to interview? Ooh, all but 3 quit in their first 2 to 3 months. Exactly. And so they quit. Why? Because they're not being treated well. They're not, being paid well. They're sitting around without any kind of pay. And so then they leave. And it's understandable. You come out to trucking to change your life, a lot of people, unless you're 21. You want a second career or you want to change your life. And so you go sit somewhere for 6 hours and your check's $400. And you're like, well, forget about that. What the heck kind of good thing is that? And so I understand why people quit. And it's sad. It really is sad. It doesn't have to be that way. Supersized loads. Is that McDonald's? You mean oversized or supersized? Yes. I worked for TMC, got paid percentage. TMC does pay percentage to the truck. It was after all expenses to run the truck. Then I found that I left. I found out I made more by the mile. Well, it depends, right? That's another thing. It depends. I don't like that it should be after all expenses. You should get a percentage of the load then. So it's like you're paying for the truck and getting a part of what's left over. It's more like almost a profit sharing then is what they're saying. Happy merchant, you've seen supersized truckers. Yeah, we get them up in the 400s. Guys named Mark, give me the willies. Yeah, wet willies maybe, right? Trucking will change your life. You'll go postal. Look, trucking is a life-changing career for new people that are watching, whatever. We make a lot of fun of trucking, whatever, but it's a great career. If you get in at the right place, stay there, you got a career for the rest of your life. And people, no matter how the economy goes, People have to eat, and they always need toilet paper because they all got to eat. So there's no problem getting a job for you. No problem. If you'll keep your record clean, and stay out and get experience, you will have no problem getting a job. No problem at all. 27 cents a mile to start. Where is that going on? But I mean, that's really, really low. And so that's lower than Pam, which is one of the lowest I've ever seen. And so somebody starts at 27 cents. They get 2,000 miles still. That's only $500. Gross. So then they take home $290 and they're like, well, forget it. I was making more at my factory job or whatever they were doing. That isn't any good because they're gone all week. TMC, too much cleaning. That is a good way that people say TMC, certainly. That's one of the reasons. The Marine Corps is what I always thought that it was called. That's what people always said to me. It's your choice, cents or percentage, though. So TMC will run cents on there. I'm not sure about that. I've always heard that they're percentage over there. Finding the right company is a trick. That's the thing about it. Finding a good company is what makes it difficult. Leach's wives need you to drive more miles, and while you're gone, she's on Tinder. I don't know about that. CRST should have won. They did win, by the way. Thank you, Trooper Rage. Anyway, I appreciate that. Right, 23 was just a couple weeks ago. Was my 23rd anniversary. So, truck, thanks for drivers for keeping America moving. Without us, nothing happens in America. Finding the right place is critical. Yes, that changes your whole trajectory of driving, right? From starting and quitting in 3 months to starting and staying a driver and then staying in the industry and always having a job for the rest of your life. Low paid companies take advantage of felons. Some do, like Western. But then the other side of it, which I had a number of people write to me about that, felons, that said, at least they gave me a place to work when other places wouldn't. So there's that side of it too. They're getting a place to work, which a felon needs to work too. So they should still be paid, certainly. Greetings from Canada. Oh, thanks for coming in here from across the border there. Seems the money is hustle and bustle with deliveries via FedEx. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be local there, certainly, with all the roads. At least would have to be on the clock. Have to be. DC second to chief, a buck 24-year career job. I want to drive a truck, tired of property law. Oh, well, come on out here. We're waiting for you. Hey, Michael, what's going on? You need a company that's going to let you drive for 15 cents and let you go home. Oh, okay. Well, there's some of those out there. They won't. CRST one? Yes. CRST did one. That video was out a little while ago. Yes, UFO, exactly. How does the job I pay? Why do I stay here? I like working here, right? So they treat you well here, like a professional. When I travel around for them, which they've sent me all around the country, when we got these ELDs to train, they're like, here's a credit card and here's a car, a rental car. And so I traveled around like that, like an executive, like you should be treated. And if there's a question, they're like, can this be done? No. Well, when can you do it? Not, it needs to be done. When can you get it done? And then they work onto that. All right, 9, fine. Then that's what it'll be. They take your word for it. And so that's part of being treated like a professional. So that's why I like working here. And so that's why I stay there. If that changes, I'll hit the road just like any other place. Believe me. When you started driving, what was my over-the-road pay? Okay, so I made my over-the-road job was 23% at Regal Transport, which was a flatbed company. My first job was $250 a week salary, which was a local job. That's where I first went. But I worked there a few months and then went over the road, and that was 23% in 1988. And nothing on empty. It was 23% of exactly what they got. So empty miles were free. And waiting time and all that on flatbed, I didn't get anything for any of that. 23%. Your wife's a saint. She keeps the home fire. She's very good. Very good. And I'm not saying that because she'll watch this later. She said the kitchen on fire, but dogs were laying and no, the kitchen was on fire. Good. Good, exactly. They'll run cents from won't give you enough miles to make it worth it. It depends where you are, And if you get a minimum pay, then that isn't a problem. That's why I like these companies that have a guarantee. A lot of them, which I always say newsbound, but there's a lot of them. So you don't have to worry about not getting enough miles if you have a $250 a day minimum like Newsbaum has. You can get 100 miles and make $250 a mile as a company driver. Not bad. The biggest thing about Prime is company drivers have to pay for things other companies don't charge. You have to pay for chains. I can't believe that, right? Maybe. And straps, chew on that. That's really something. It'd be hard for me to believe to make a company driver, even at Prime, right, pay for any of those kind of things. Is that some kind of policy, a written policy? I'd love to see that if you have it. Because, it's really hard to believe that a company driver, even at Prime or anywhere, would make you pay for any of that. Ivona has to stretch before driving. Yes. Hey, Claudio. The best paying job is in the oil field. Yes, it seems to be the best advertised high paid job. TMC seems good if you don't mind keeping your truck spotless, making your bed and everything else. The most miles you got was 1,500. It depends what that pays on percentage. If that paid $1,000, that's not bad. Wherever an owner operator, no. I've been a company driver, and that's how I'll stay. Hillbilly, last question. You see a food center, at least 100 trailers waiting for a container from the international ship. You can't see miles. It depends, right? If they're waiting for this, sitting, as long as they're all sitting there, they should all be getting paid. If the trailers are empty, then they sit there, right? It can be a disaster unless you're being paid for it. Then it isn't a problem. So many horrible companies up here in Canada. It makes roaming to the sewers and screaming at night post look like a step up. Really? I would figure that they would pay better because you have the different regulations, and everything costs so much more there, it seems, anyway, from the few times I went up there in the 90s, I guess, for 3M. So my experience with Canada. Because even then, gas was 3 something per gallon, basically almost $1 a liter then in Canada for your car. We're looking at this Esso stations. I'm like, man, that is really a lot of money. TMC is not your first choice, Maverick. Yes, I would rather see people at Maverick than TMC. I just can't take. They can pay all they want, but all these goofy other policies, you can't walk on the grass, you have to make your bed. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Your company starts people at 50 cents. They're not perfect, but they get you home for the weekends, and that's the main feature. It's not about the money. Yeah, you're getting what you need out of them. If they treat you well and they get you home when you want to get home, that's totally worth it. You don't have to make, a certain amount of money there if that's what they're doing for it, Prime says people steal their chains. Well, that people may steal their chains because other people are stealing, but I cannot imagine a company driver has to buy chains. Who would do it? I wouldn't pay. They're like $300. I'm not buying chains for them. I voted no one should steal. Yeah, I think they're just being stolen. Some of them have a thing that flips down that lock on the chain holders. When you drove for Prime, it was the fleece operators who got stung. Well, they're not being stung. They've chosen to run their own business successfully, and so they get to buy all these things. I just can't see a company driver buying load locks. I wouldn't do it. I'd tell them I'm not buying load locks. So I don't know how that works. Carolina Cargo starts people at 16 cents. I called them last summer because people asked me to. They offered me $1,000 a week salary to come and work there and work 4.5 days a week. That's what they offered. No mileage. It was going to be $1,000 a week. Now, is that great? It wasn't great, but is it 16 cents a mile? No. I mean, I couldn't do enough miles where it'd be 16 cents a mile for $1,000. Maybe they offer different people different things, different amounts of money. That is what they offered me, $1,000 a week. Hey, Claudio, that's no problem. Just pop in and out. It isn't any issue at all. And I thank you for being here today. They're going to try to rent stay in the truck. Dedicated truck. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Right. Michael Young stands corrected. Your DM told me if you want to change, you had to pay. I just don't understand it. Shop called and said, just come and get them. Yeah, you don't have to pay for chains. No company driver, even at your place, right, has to pay for chains. No company has to pay for chains. What do I think about Trans Am? I think Ivona answered that question. She's right on top of that. No way on that one, right? I'd prefer a salary than per mile. I like the guarantee in per mile. I think on the road seems to be the best combo. What do you think about that? So that you can make more, but then you never make less. So that people that sit, which is tons of problems I get on it. People that sit still are going to get paid, $200, $250 a day salary. You don't have the problem of worrying, I'm going to sit here and not make any money. I'll never make less than X dollars, whatever they have as a guarantee. That's, I think, the best way to do it on the road at the moment, other than hourly, which I just can't get people on board with trucking companies. But a guaranteed daily amount is pretty good. Prime does have a lot of drivers who think it's a great company. They do. There's a lot of drivers at every company that think it's good, but and it might work out for some people, but I think overall it just didn't turn out to be as good a place as people think it is. DM acts like she knows everything, but you know better. That's at a lot of places, right? They think they know everything, but they don't drive. That's half the problem with the cameras, is that at companies, the one that's going to coach you on, you were following too closely or whatever, that's some 23-year-old that, has never driven, just got out of college. Hey, you driver with 20 years experience, I'm going to come in here and tell you how to drive, right? That's the thing that's got to end with that. I haven't seen a salary paying $80,000. ShipX. Check out ShipX. Check out Central Oregon Truck. Also runs that kind of deal. Prime charges company drivers for chains and trailer locks. I just can't believe it. I mean, it's not on their website. I met Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. If you have that in a driver manual or something, I'd love to see it. A receipt where it's not paid or it's expected for you to pay. Otherwise, I just can't believe it. I mean, Arthur, what happened to the video? I don't know. Is it not on there anymore? May I ask you a question? For a new driver, didn't yet have your CDL, who would I go with if it was me? Well, depends where you live, right? But probably I would call Maverick to start. Maverick would be a good place to get started. They have refrigerated or flats, and their pay is really good. They have a good training program. Millis is also an excellent company that will take trainers. Oh, you're in California. If you have a problem in California, I haven't found a really good place. You may have to call Swift. Frey Miller has a training program out there. People have been asking about California. What's a good company out there that will take a student? I have a really tough time finding one. You've been driving since 2012. Only work for Swift on a per mile. After that, you've been hourly or salary, and it works better. Hourly would work the best, right? Explain, recap mechanical issues and how to teach them how to adjust. There's no brake adjustments. The brakes are automatics like adjusters. And if there's a problem with them, they have to be fixed. There's some kind of problem. That's what the owner's manual says to them. So mechanical issues, have the shop fix them. Look, as a company driver, I don't get out, other than lights and easy stuff, I don't get out and fix the truck. I don't. And people can say you're not a driver, but I don't care, right? I'll sit there and call, the lights on, the engine light, you fix it. That's what the shop is for. That's what they pay people to do. I'm not a truck mechanic. I'll change headlights out or stuff like that. Lights are on the trailer. But beyond that, right, I'm not fixing it. I'm just not. In Canada, the driver ends up getting micromanaged to death to work around regulations. That's here too. Maybe their companies are too busy lowballing each other. That crosses the border. That's a cross-border problem. Don't think like it's just you. ShipX salary is an 80. All right, I'll give you that. It's 11 something, right? You have to get the bonus, agree. The salary is 60, agree. Right, so they have a base plus a bonus. I agree. Swift is okay to start with. Yeah, Swift might not be a bad place to start out there, and when you're out west. I agree. Especially since they changed the way that you pay the school back now. It's not this 2-year payback that it used to be. So your DM started 2 months ago, first dispatching job. Now he's an expert. Yeah, well, he's got 2 months experience. I will tell you, he's got 90% more experience than the trainers in England. Check out oil field companies in Kern. I bet those pay good, don't they? But you'd have to move there. That's the problem. DOT Foods. Oh, will they take students out there? That's interesting. I thought you need experience there. In the oil field, you have to be careful. Most truck companies will misclassify you. Oil field is a black hole of 1099s. A rail near Philadelphia trains at $100 a day. May not be true. They do pay in training. I was thinking about Swift since they hire Yeah, that's a place that's out there. And of course, you can always leave. So if it turns out not to be something that works out for you, get a year and then you can go anywhere you want. Then find a place you really like. Maybe it is Swift, maybe it's not. If your truck won't stop, you have a brake problem. Yeah, there's your problem. Hey, there's your problem. You ran through the stop sign and killed people. Best company for local jobs? Well, any union company I would probably say would probably be the best local job because it would pay the most money and have free health insurance. Anytime you see a problem, you go to Penske, your truck leases. So you have a rental truck from Penske, they lease them, you just take it to them and tell them to fix it. So the only reason I say lights is because, you could be somewhere else and the light goes out. And on your way to get it fixed, you get it pulled over. So that's why I like to keep a little assortment of lights. And they're easy to change, of course, everybody knows. Pop them in, get that changed, and then go down the road. But anything more than that, no, I let the mechanics fix it. Once you find a good company, you can make over 90 a year W-2. Yes, especially where you are. Totally agree, right. But you got to live down there, right? Swift has the school in Arizona. Yeah, their big HQ is there. Explain what to look and listen for problems. So any audible air leak, right, is a problem. Asian foods take students hourly pay plus $30 30 a day allowance. Yeah, that's not bad. And they'll take from out there too. That's interesting too. So your hourly motel, the $30 a day is nice added to your money because that tax-free money, not bad. Which it's legal for the company to do. We can't deduct it. Don't forget that. Companies can still pay it per diem. We just don't get to deduct it anymore, which everybody in the next couple months will be finding out that doesn't know it. Prime uses charges for com checks. It's $2. Some companies do charge that. That's for lumbers, anything you use as a company. They charge $1 a week on your paycheck, and you don't get it reimbursed. Why do they charge $1 a week on your paycheck? And they shouldn't be charging you for a lumper com check either, as a company driver. Creed and Averett take students as long as it's a school they approve of. Will they hire out west, though? Can you fix an LED light? The tail lights will pop out. I mean, you can put another one in. The headlights on the truck? No, I asked them about it when I got the truck. And these Cascadias, at least with the LED, it's the whole unit has to be removed, and they won't give me one to carry with me. They're like, oh, those are expensive. We can't just give those to you. So a headlight, they actually said they'll tow the truck in if you're not going to drive it at night because of a headlight out. It's crazy. I said, just give me one. Oh, you can't do that. So, but all the other trailer lights just pop in and out. Do I keep a mini air compressor for low tires? No, I do not. When you drove for Prime, they charged $1 a week for the fuel card. My wife went ballistic over that. So do you get paid on the card? Is that what you're saying? Our trailer lights are covered with a sheet and can't get to them without popping rivets. Oh, well, then you got it. That's because so they don't get stolen out of there. So you're going to have to go somewhere and get them fixed. And if you're getting paid on this pay card, I'll get into that in a second. I wanted to that's going to be a video too. Prime is probably the best rookie company. I don't know about that. If they're charging all this extra stuff, 49 cents is not the best. You can do better. You can go to Maverick, pull reefers and do more than that. So you had to move from California to Texas, right, where nobody wants to live, but it's been a good move. To get in the oil field, you got to live in the oil field. How do you get your company for getting you out of detention pay? By sending you late pre-plans. Ah, nice. I start yelling at them, right? And look, when they send it to you, you should send a message back. All right, I see what you're saying. So you're due there, but you're late. You send a message back that, change the times on the plan so that you can get your detention pay. That's how I would do it. Because it isn't fair that they do that. And I agree with you. Sometimes they do that to hose you out of pay. Sometimes they're just late on it and they drop the ball. Make them change the times on it so it's a time that you're going to be there. Say, look, this is late. I'm not going to get my detention, or write in there. Make sure I want to get paid detention on this from when I show up, and have them write it back and take pictures of it all. Let's see. No, they just charge $1 for the Comdata card. So every time you fill their truck up, they charge you $1, or they charge you $1 a week for it. That's ridiculous. Have I done a video on US Express? Yeah, there's a couple of videos I have out on US Express. The world is overpopulated. I don't know about that. So That's interesting. At least tell them how to inspect brakes and tires. Look, there's nothing to do on them, right? You can, I do a yank test on them. Seriously, I mean, and they can't. There's nothing to fix on them. You're not allowed to fix them. So the owner's manual tells you to not, and they want the mechanics working on them. Prime, you have to train to make money. Prime is set up like a lot of these companies. You make the most money if you train people, certainly. Let's see. Crete hires out west. Okay, so Crete will do 48 states. And who did, oh, Melton. If you don't mind the camera, Melton hires 48 states too. I don't understand why they're charging $1 a week for the card. What, do they just hose $52 out of everybody so that you can fill up their truck? I think that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Is that you have to sign, since they're deducting it from your check, you have to have signed for it. So when is that? When do they have you sign for this? Because they can't make check deductions without you signing for it. Yeah, Leonidas, that doesn't make sense. I totally agree. It doesn't make any sense. Why are they charging you money to fill up their truck? Thousands of drivers by $52? That's crazy. What do I think about TWT system out of Spokane? I think their pay was low, but I found that a lot of West Coast places didn't pay well. I think if you went right down the street to Central Oregon truck, you'd probably be better off out there. Michael, Newspawn, Maverick, Averett, Crete, and Central Oregon. That is a good list right there. Leslie's hauling sand in West Texas, home every night for $100,000 and work whenever you want. So you're out in the fields too. That is great money for people that are willing to move there. Are you willing to move? Do you have experience? Head to the fields, oil fields, and expect that it might not last your whole life. And so if it ever slows down, just be ready to go somewhere else. You never know how long it'll last. But that's at any company, right? Any place could quit. Don't expect any company to keep you for the rest of your life. Werner hires out west. Oh, Werner might hire you out west. So these large places will hire you in the west as well. DEF isn't anything but a money pit. Well, that's a possibility, right? We got to put them in the truck. I have no choice. Michael says you sign a lot of papers when you start training. You signed, everybody at Prime that has that dollar taken out signed for it. They signed for it. So because they can't deduct things out of your check without you agreeing to it, I would love to see that paper if somebody has it. People send me stuff all the time, mark@truckinganswersnation.com, and I'd like to know what it says. Or if you just want to write and say, this is what it says on it, you could take a picture of the paper and send it. That's crazy. Don't ever get paid on a fuel card, always direct deposit. Yes, look, I wanted to talk about that because I had a number of people write to me recently about it. So I thought, and I'm going to make a video about it too. Don't get paid on your company's pay card. Okay, don't. Because if something happens, you quit, they fire you, doesn't matter. They could turn off your card. If somebody wrote in and said, my money's on the card, I can't get it. There's nothing I can do about it. Don't get paid on that card. Get a direct deposit. If you don't have a bank account because a New World Order or Martians are coming, whatever it is, go get a prepaid card from some store and get paid on that. Do not get paid on their card. Don't. If you're getting paid on their card, get the money off right now and change where you get your direct deposit sent to. So I think new drivers know what to look for. No, they shouldn't. There's not that much to look for on it. Driver-facing camera should be automatic. Yeah, they're not going to get doing it better. Certainly, it's going to get them off of that time. You still prefer to fix your truck instead of losing time waiting for a mechanic to show up. You get paid for the load. Yeah, you've made your decision on it, and some stuff you just can't fix, right? But it just depends. If you want to do it, I'm not mad at you about it, But I just am, as a company driver, I'm just not going to fix their truck. I'll make sure everything is filled up in that, but beyond that, they should maintain the truck. Prime does whatever they want. They don't care if you complain or sue. I totally agree. I just never heard this. No one's ever said that to me. No one's made a video about it or anything. Oh, because of the yard location. Okay, right. Should married men buy the wife a new car for less worries while she's on the road? That's a good point, and I've always done that. Or, I get them a year or two old is how we do it here, because you save a ton of money. But always the wife gets a nice car to drive that is very new with full warranty and everything. It's a very good idea. And plus it's just a good idea anyway. Let's just be honest, right? Be married, give your wife the newer car. I've always said that you should always determine each day you get up and think, how do I make the other person's life better? That's how each of you does it in a marriage, all right? That's my marriage advice for the day. How can I make her life better? And then her day is, how can I make his life better today? If each of you did that, you'd be married a lot longer, I think. But that's just what I say. But get her a new car or a decent car. This car we got her was 2 years old. So, and then she doesn't have a problem. And when it's a 5 years old, go get another car. Just they sell them everywhere. You can just buy them all over the place. But yes, I totally think so, yes. I'd like to drive for an owner-operator. Is that possible? Sure. There's tons of owner-operators that hire you. They'll probably 1099 you wrongly. Maverick doesn't hire from Florida. They should hire their temperature controlled out of Florida, maybe. If not, Car Industries does hire students out of Florida. You ditch Prime after you paid off your school. That's a lot of the places. You get your experience. Then you can figure out where you want to work. Take time, find the right place, ask the questions, and then you have it. They had to come data charge in fees. It's got to be listed on there. In the lumper fee, so show advance for $120 lumper, you $22, and they reimburse $120. That is crazy that you should have to pay part of the lumper fee. I'm going to look into that. That's ridiculous. But I need somebody to, there's got to be something written about that, or that's not going to work. You can do whatever you want. Just be careful. Don't 1099 yourself. Wanted to drive for Maverick. Told you'd have to move to Kansas. They don't hire out of the West. Yeah, you're too far away. Hauling sand, you'll get lung disease. Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe, right? Maybe. How about a mask? How do most guys feel about in-cab cameras? No good. Nobody likes them. I hate them. You wouldn't want to be watched. I don't agree with it either. Don't like them at all. As a company driver, you get paid for being broke down. Exactly. Me too. Breakdown pay. If you love your wife, make sure she has new tires at AAA. That's very good. Give her a nice car. Happy wife, happy life. Exactly. She always gets the newer car. Bar none gives you $200 if your load is canceled, even if you pick up a load. Well, there you go. Look, there are places. This is the thing about it. So bar none. And this. There are people sitting for 6-10 hours for free, and the bar none's giving people $200 for a load canceled. And the people that sit, which have experience, still sit there. I just don't understand it. It may be time. If you're working around for nothing, it's time to move on. Will lumping lead to blindness? Only if you lump in the sand. You were really wanting to drive without worries, thinking, oh no, not in this life. Look, you can drive without worries, right? Find what works for you. Everything works differently for everybody. What I do here, some people may not like. What Shipx does, some people hate it. It just depends. You gave your wife a Prius and she loved it. That's disappointing. That'd be very embarrassing to have anybody driving it, much less your wife. Where do you find information that they can't deduct? I know they can't. No. They can deduct the fee. Prime has every right to deduct that fee if you agree to it. They're not allowed to deduct fees out of your check that you don't agree to. So you have to sign. Like insurance is a good example. Your health insurance. They have you sign. Hey, do you want insurance? Sign this. And in the signature, you agree to have the amount of insurance deducted from your check. They can deduct fees just like some companies can deduct fuel out of your check because you agree to it. You signed for it. So they can deduct the fee if you agree to it, if you agree to the fee. And somewhere, believe me, Prime has had you sign for it. You may not know it, but because of that, you've signed. Anybody that's there, Prime, has signed for that fee to come out. So it's in the paperwork that you signed, which you should have got a copy of. And you can always ask them, I don't think I signed for that. Why are you deducting it? And I bet you they'll be able to provide that piece of paper to you. Insurance is getting ridiculous. Get a nice used car that you can pay cash for. Well, that's a personal thing too, right? I like a nice car that, is relatively new that I don't have any problems with. The insurance here is cheap. So we always do a, 1 to 3 year old car where somebody's taken the deduction, and it's a car that's always got all the options on it. That's how we do it. It's if you want to drive an older car, that's you. This is me. And the wife always gets the new one. And so when that gets a little older, sometimes I'll trade my car in and give get a new car for her, and then I take that car for myself. So, but that's how we do it here, because I think the wife should have a nice car to drive around, but our cars always have options, which I recommend everybody get as well. Go get yourself something nice so that you have something nice to get in. Okay. You don't want to come back from working a week, 3 weeks, and you get in some $400 car. Okay. You don't want to do that. Will be emailed to you on the Prime check. All right, Gary, I'm waiting. I'd love to see what it says on there. But you, if that's you, right, you work at Prime, you've signed a paper that allows them to deduct that fee. Paid for being broke down. That sounds like a unicorn. No, a lot of companies pay breakdown. You should get paid for your breakdown time, certainly. There's not much of it. I harp about it a lot, but most companies have pretty new trucks. And let's be honest, you don't break down once or twice a year. But there's flats and stuff, and you should get paid for that time. Is it good for drivers to buy a dash cam? Yeah, I think a driver should run their own dash cam. I think that's a great idea. And then you control the video feed of that, and you can show it to a cop right here. Hey, that Prius just ran the light. That guy's wife and that Prius just drove through that light. Alternate hands while lumping. Yeah, one hand might get tired doing that. Your Prius saves you money so you can buy more guns. Okay. You might need them and when the Prius runs out of juice, I guess. More guns, right. I've heard that Texas, you can rent a truck for getting your CDL. Some states do that. You can rent a school bus here, but I don't think they let you run a semi if you need a passenger endorsement. A few days of training just to pass you. Is this a good idea? Or to go to CDL school? Well, it depends what your plans are after that. A lot of companies that you're going to get hired on initially won't take you if you haven't gone to a truck school that's got at least 160 hours of training. So because you have a CDL and no training, they may make you go back through training, something like that. So I would check into the place you want to work first before you went to do that. It may be better off to go a few weeks to the truck school because you'll have a lot better chance to get a job. You could be really impacting, your future career path at these companies because you don't have a way to do it. Imagine Mark driving a Prius. Yeah, you'll have to imagine it because you won't ever see it happen. You drove for a company like Palmer. Wasn't Prime, but you pulled Prime Freight. It's basically Prime, right? You switched to Drive Ran, which was not Prime, different name on the trailers. Yeah, it's still Jim Palmer. And they have some kind of pay card there too, from what I understand. Your wife has both cars. You have 18 wheels and 18 gears. That's really something. Once home, you have no interest in driving. Oh, I drive everywhere as a driver. My wife, I don't know if she's ever driven me anywhere in all these years. As far as I can remember, no. Wherever we go, I drive. But, I like driving. That's why I'm a driver. So, again, that's a personal thing. But wherever we go, I drive there. Here in Texas, people can rent a truck for a road test. Okay, so you can rent the truck. But if you don't go to an approved school, a lot of the places say, no, you can't come here. You don't have an approved school. So that can be a problem. So you're going to have to get into your job and backwards by finding the job and seeing if they will accept a CDL without an approved school. Michael had 240 hours at CDL. I just say 160 because I see a lot of them post that. Must have attended at least 160-hour truck school. So that's why I say 160. But you're going to have to call the company first to find out which one that they want. But I do see a lot of them say 160 hours. Arthur, because of legal issues here, the crab company has changed to every Wednesday. I still do a company where we need to ask them some kind of questions, and that's how it has to go here from there on. Because of the way that has rolled on, so that way we can keep it going and still not have too many problems with it, really. I quit in 2014. Okay, good. I'll wait to see it. You signed something. That dollar, I think the dollar is one thing. The $2 is even worse. That you have to pay $2 to have the load lumped. I mean, are you kidding me? That's great about the Prius. I'll leave that there. Your company lowered its hiring requirements. It used to need 2 years. Now it's 1 year. Yeah, that's everybody, right? A lot of places are doing that. Stop hating on the Prius. Look, If you want to drive a Prius around, that's okay with me. Just you won't see me driving one around. Your wife drives a 2017 GMC SLT. That's more like it, right? You could put the Prius in the back of that thing. Would I ever get a Tesla? No. I would not get a Tesla. I mean, the recharge time, and I know we're going to get Tesla problems, right? But the recharge time just is not hitting me right. And in the cold here, I mean, we were 17 below zero. What's the range on a Tesla? Like 9 miles? So no, this would certainly not be the place to get a Tesla, even if I wanted one. You got to protect. Yeah, exactly, Michael. I have to do that, so I don't have any choice but to change it around. Hey, say what? What's happening? Thanks for coming in. Swift accepted you in 2012. They made you go to truck school. So they made you go to a truck school. Sure. Hey, what's happening, Adco? Good to see you in here today. Lone Star. Yeah, Swift, look, it's a way to get into trucking. And they're not nearly, as bad. People always give them a lot of grief. I found tons of companies way worse than that. Way worse than that. Right. Why did I cut Rard? What is a beard, maybe? Right. I went to Haircut Corner and got a head of haircut for half price, as I do. And the last time I was in there was August. So people were handing me money on the streets. I'd walk around. They go, "Oh, too bad about your luck. Here's $1." I'm like, "Oh, well, what's going on?" "Oh, it looks like you don't have a place to live." So I had to go do something. Would I drive a Prius for $5,000? No, I would not drive a Prius. I wouldn't. If you gave me one, I would sell it and go get a regular car. So just not a big fan of them. Just not. That's not going to be a fan. The only one plus it would have to be a 4 besides, which I don't see many of them set up like that. Most people get a 1 or a 2 on them, so I wouldn't be interested in that either. In California, you'll go with anyone but CR. You never heard anyone saying get anything good about them. There's nothing good to say about them, certainly. And I didn't know some of these other places ran out there, like DOT Foods. If that's a place, right, that might be a great place to get into out there. Let's see. Cheese and steak will get you a free dinner. Yeah. Laredo, Texas. Oh, what's happening from way down south? How's it going down there? I saw that video. It was a little awkward. Got to figure that out. Yes. Why did I cut it? Well, for $6 extra, I have them do it there. So at Haircut Corner, which apparently they should pay me for advertising for. Anyone in the Lafayette area should go there. Your F-350 bit a Prius last week. Did you even notice? As we harp on the Prius, Swift is good to start, especially since they've changed their payback policy, but not good for the long run. Sometimes some drivers get lucky with the dedicated or become a trainer. I do have people write to me from Swift and all these large companies that get on a dedicated run and seem to make a go of it. That works out good for them. They get their home time because it's right where they're living or whatever. So it could work out for some people. And now that it's not a 2-year payback, it's a good place to get started, especially out west, and get your license, and you can always move on after that. Say, what is getting a random drug test done? Yikes. You got your Up and Smoke shirt. That's a great shirt to wear for that. Well, are they going to notice it? Hey, what's happening, Todd? Thanks for coming in today. What's going on? A guy teaming at FedEx taking home $2,000 after taxes. It can pay good. They are paying really good. Hopefully he's a W-2 employee. We don't want people being hosed. Blackhawk is a good company. All right. Yeah. Blackhawk Carriers would be a good company. We'll take your word. What is one good thing about them? Landstar is owner-operator. That is correct. Black Smoke Cancer is exactly right. What about Landstar in Arizona? Landstar does owner-operators. And all I've ever said about them is they were at a truck show and they had their load board up, and I really like it. I mean, I like that you could pick the loads from everywhere and all that, but how it works in real world to make money, I'm not sure. There's a lot of discounts for them. That's another Trucker's Coach kind of video, really. Do I like Red Viking Trucker? I've never met Red Viking Trucker. Will they cut my back hair? My wife really wants me to cut it. I think that's an extra $6 more. What's the best sleeper truck for turning radius? Well, I mean, they're all big. We do good with our Cascadias here. That's mainly what we have for sleepers as well. It just depends on where you're going. You got to work it in, but get a aerodynamic truck, right? And it'll be fine in there. Do I agree with RVT? Well, what RVT does is for him to do. And on coaching calls, look, I had to go, I used to do those for free months ago, and nobody would come. So, I would sit there for an hour, which I think is interesting. People would say they're coming, and I'd sit there and nobody comes. So now that I've put up a price on there, when people come to it, they actually come. So I almost see the point of it is that when you do them for free, I did them for 3 months for free. I would get a Hangouts meet call. You could come into that meet. People would say they're coming, and I'd have to sit there for an hour. Nobody would come. People don't find any value in something that they don't seem to pay for. So, and of course, like him, you don't have to pay him. And that's for anybody at anywhere, right? So, I don't know. You just don't have to pay it. What he does there is his thing to do. He was an early subscriber on this channel, and I've subscribed to him for quite some time. So that's how it is over there. But otherwise, that's his thing to do over there. I don't really talk about other channels like that, but so. You doing the giveaway today? No, there's no giveaway today. There will be a giveaway coming up here. And I should have some Love's gift cards at the truck show as well. Yeah, be sure to go to the truck show. If you're going at the end of March, I think you only have this month to get your tickets. So look up the Mid-America Truck Show. Get your tickets sent to you in advance, and I'll see you at the truck show at the last weekend of March. I should have some of those to give away. What's a good company to get started with in the Southeast? Well, that's everywhere, right? Maverick runs out of there. Compcar runs out of there. Millis probably runs down south. Creed is down there. It's the regular ones, yeah. Landstar takes 25% off the top. I just liked that you could choose your loads and stuff like that. How the money goes, part of it, as a company driver, I don't exactly know. Part of being an owner-operator is realizing that you're running a business and not a beauty contest. That's one thing. You should have the most efficient equipment that will do the job, and with the lowest payment and the lowest operating cost, meaning the best fuel mileage and everything. If you're not willing to do that, you may have problems making money as an owner-operator. Imagine the distance in your paycheck from 6 miles to the gallon to 8 miles to the gallon. That can be tons of money, right? Did I go to the Trucking Expo? No. When is the Trucking Expo? Blackhawk has a lot of trucks leased at Ryder, so they'll be the same as you then, that they can just go get it fixed whenever they want to. You run FedEx and Amazon line haul. What do you say about that? Say what? Is it pretty good? At Blackhawk, you get 3,000 miles a week. That's rolling right there. That is 3,000 miles. Yes, that's getting some money. Yeah, last weekend of March for the truck show, you can bring your semi there too. If you go on the Mid-America Truck Show website, it has parking. It shows where all the parking is and everything. So you'll just see it all on there. The tickets are free, but if you show up at the door, the tickets, they charge you. So get your tickets in advance if you think you're going to go. Because if you go, oh, wait, and then you show up last minute, they charge you $10. So get them sent to you in advance. No charge then. No charge is better than charge to go to the truck show. Can I make a video on dash cams drivers must use? I only have this one dash cam that I'm using from Falcon Eye. And I'll tell you, I'm not impressed with it. It's called the Trucker Dash Cam. Not impressive. Doesn't give good video. So I think you have to spend more than I spent on this one. The one I have, or I'll do a video of that one this week. I haven't even been able to get video off of it on the computer. I don't know how to do it. It doesn't link up or anything. So, and the instructions they're in 40 languages, but they're useless. So they have a trucker dash cam, not impressed. So mine was $60. I guess you're going to have to spend like $100. I don't know. But I haven't used all of them. If people have used them, let us know what you think of them. $24,000 a year for $12,000 per mile per gallon. So see, Josh, that would be a lot of money. So people beauty contest are in for a hurting. I think as an owner operator, you're a business owner. You're running a business, and so you have to run it as efficiently as possible. Doug, exactly. Him or anybody else, right? What's the big deal with the Iowa 80? It is the world's largest truck stop. Every driver is required to go there by law. When you get your CDL, you will sign a form that goes to the federal government that the president then keeps in a file. And every year they check through that file and see if you've gone, and they'll send you a reminder letter. And at some point, you have to go and get the card stamp that they give you and send it into the government. So that's the deal about the Iowa 80. Take it very seriously. You're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Congratulations. The thing with the anti-RVT is the attacks have their white robes. Yeah, I don't know about all that, right? I keep out of all that. No, I'm drama free, right? What all happens elsewhere is for them. You're looking at a Ram McNally 500. Now, I know some of these Rands do the dash cam and GPS. Is that one of them? And how much does it cost? Is it $500? 650 sounds like a good deal. I have a lot of back hair. Don't forget, you got to have a tip too. Always tip your people good. Traffic work zones and truck speed zones like for a tight timeline. Yes, because you're on a tight schedule anyway over there, right? Because I want my Amazon stuff immediately. Exactly, Doug. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through trucking life. Did I ever drive a tanker? I did drive a tanker for American Citrus. Any big adjustments? Yeah, because Citrus, the tankers aren't baffled. If you get a non-food tanker, inside the tanker, there are big baffles with holes in them so that you don't get the wave going through it. So food grade tankers, they don't have baffles because they can't be cleaned properly. So they're called smooth bore. So every time you hit the brakes, you get a nice wave that sloshes back and forth. So depending on the viscosity, that's the word of the day, would be depends on the wave that you're going to get hit at when you head at the red light. So you just have to be a lot smoother on the acceleration and deceleration, especially on ice. Otherwise, they're better in the wind because it's round and everything. So certainly. Blackhawk has flatbed in Kansas City. No tarps. Iowa 80 has a crappy buffet. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. Saw the truck stop on the History Channel. It's beautiful. So much chrome. You need to go. Go there. They have a jamboree in July where I will be there as well. So, which I haven't talked about. But in July, the Truckers Jamboree takes place at the Iowa 80. And I hope to see everybody out there as well. I don't know the dates. You can look up the Truckers Jamboree if you want to know the dates now. I was going to talk about that after the truck show, but I'll be at that as well. As a dash cam, you use the BC Master Model DC-10 as GPS speed video. Oh, so it does everything. So that's probably expensive though, again, right? And you really miss Krispy Kreme. They used to have one here and it closed. So you have the Ram McNally 500, no problems with it. Good. Just got you Blue Parrot 550. Wow. Well, you went all out. That's the top line Blue Parrot. Let us know how that is and see if that all works. Right, waterproof, voice activation, a parrot button through the app. That's the top line everything. Top line. Oh, say what? You only have minutes left. That's so frustrating, right? That would be a very stressful day, I think. Your rig runs 4 miles per gallon at 75. Ugh, you better be getting $4 a mile. Stay away from Melton. Other than the camera, I didn't think it was too bad, personally. Adco had the I-80 buffet last week. Look, it's a big buffet. And plus, look at the Iowa 80. Let's be honest. If you want to eat something other than the buffet, I think that's not a problem at that place, right? They have more food than my mall has. Why don't they have guaranteed? They only had Melton only had guaranteed for a limited time, but still, I thought it was a pretty good place. The camera just bothered me. The camera bothered me a lot. Used to work at the Blue Beacon by the I-80. Oh, all right, good. Okay, merch, yeah. Exactly. Your company runs 68 miles an hour. They need to bump you if they're going to put you so close to time. Holy mackerel. When you had 4 hit, now you have 5.5. Really? Let's talk about motorcycles. Yeah, I haven't driven a motorcycle in a while. Delivered to Amazon fulfillment last Friday. It was 3 degrees. They told you to shut up your truck. Yeah, I don't think so. I guess they have a no idle policy. No way, Jose. Good, right. It's too cold. Well, Won't they let you drop the trailer and run the truck? Usually that's the problem with it that they want. Company has this is 68. That's you guys are doing better than me, right? Midas costs around $100. It's not that expensive. I recommend it to you. That might be better. This $60 deal is not going to make it. Use a cheap dash cam. Record the screen with your iPhone if you need to send it to the police. Mine, it's so at night, it doesn't give really good views, and I can't get the pictures off the stupid camera. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And the instructions are not help. They just won't come off the camera. So it's called the trucker dash cam. That's why I got it. It's for truck drivers. Now, it holds the windshield, no problem. It never pops off or anything like that, but I'm not impressed with the video on it. Your dash cam costs $100. It's not that expensive. Yeah, it is not. That's not bad either. But because this is listed as a trucker dash cam, I thought, oh, okay, a trucker dash cam, that's what I need. And apparently that's not what I need. Huh. Your brother is Mr. Trump. I don't know about that. I don't think so. As an only child, probably not. Bed bugs are on the rise. They had from people, probably in England trucks they are. Certainly. Okay, so they made you unhook and bobtail. I could tolerate that. It's some aggravating, but you know why they do that? They don't want people driving off with their forklifts in the back of the truck because people do it. So that is a real problem. And once you get stuck, they do one accident, everybody's got to pay, right? So you're out there in the middle of winter trying to crank the legs of the trailer down when no one has changed the grease in the last 4 weeks. You had a blue parrot with both earphones and hit a bump and got in trouble with the safety. Yes. You can't run the double headphone in the truck, illegal, one only. So if you have the 450, right, which I believe is the one with the 2 headset, you get the one with only the 1 ear. Name a good dash cam. Yeah, somebody should name a good dash cam. A lot of speed traps in the Northeast. You'd probably rack up speed tickets, but you need it. I mean, if you're so close, you don't want to be all frustrated every day. It's going to ruin your heart, right? A trench, much gratitude. You're getting your CDL through the Teamsters. Oh, wow. You want to set up an S Corp. Oh, what could be my best course of action to set up myself for success? Well, I wouldn't do all that. That's just me. The S Corp and all that, that's way beyond me, and I don't know why anybody would do it. So, plus, why don't you just stay as a Teamster? Wouldn't that be your best course of success? I mean, honestly. You paid $250 for a Garmin 65 voice-activated Wi-Fi to download your tablet. So that is, 4 times this, but it's if it works, it's worth it because I always say the cheap can come out expensive. So if that works, it's worth it, and it would be tax deductible, right? I'm still curious about this. Why do you need an S Corp if you get your CDL through the Teamsters? Aren't you going to work for like Holland or Yellow, one of those places, ABF, where that has that set up? That seems like that's the way it would be. You went to Holland, Hawaii. I saw Hawaii and it disappeared. Let's get that back up there as the technology slows down here. Here they roll back in. And it is got hard at bar none a few minutes ago. Holy mackerel. Get the Blackview 4K resolution desk, $600. Now, I mean, that's a lot of money. $600, that's a lot of money. So you have a buddy from Hawaii that wants to get into trucking. Wow, how would someone from Hawaii or Alaska get a job? Why companies don't hire? I will tell you, Schneider will hire you from Alaska. You live in Alaska, Schneider will hire you. They have a fly and drive, I forget what it's called. There's a name to it. They will hire people from Alaska because they've talked about it. They fly them here. You drive for Schneider here, and they fly you back home. Some kind of flight time program. I don't remember what it's called. Schneider will hire you from Alaska. How would somebody in Hawaii do it? There's got to be a truck school in Hawaii. So you'd have to go to truck school there and go local, presumably. Probably not a lot of road jobs in Hawaii. But Schneider, and there's trucking companies in Alaska, but Schneider will hire you from Alaska, and you can come down here and drive. You can come down to the United States and drive, and they'll fly you back to your home country of Alaska. Be more happy. Yes, that is an unfortunate thing. You see them out picketing, wearing only a sandwich board. Trench wants to be an owner-operator. I mean, I don't know why you have to have an S Corp to be an owner-operator, really. Can't you run that as a small business? I'm a company driver. And I will tell you, honestly, that kind of question would work at Truckers Coach TV better than here. The Truckers Coach on YouTube would be way better at answering that as an owner-operator. Because I don't understand why you need an S Corp to be an owner-operator. You got a fluorescent light for checking for bed bugs? Yeah, you may not want to do that, right? Walmart has decent dash cams, except I don't shop at Walmart. Not very expensive with decent video. I heard about that Jet Set. That's what it's called, Jet Set. I know there's something jet in it. Schneider will hire you from Alaska and they'll fly you back and forth at their cost. It's a top of the line dash cam. It ought to be, right, for that money. Hawaii has an interstate. I know, isn't that funny? It's called an interstate. It's hilarious. United Road, they haul cars up in Alaska. Okay, so United Road is in Alaska, and they'll hire people. There's other trucking companies in Alaska. I'm not saying like there's no companies. I just remember seeing that Schneider flies people down here to the United States, lets them work, and then flies them back to their home country of Alaska. It's the most amazing thing. Garmin dash cams. Yeah, Garmin's into making everything. Hopefully their dash cam is better than their trucker road atlas, which I've always said for us is not great. Your friend from Hawaii wants to work in the mainland, but be able to fly back to Hawaii every 3 months. Yeah, I don't see why that couldn't work. But they're going to have to fly themselves back and forth. Schneider might do it from Hawaii too. I don't know why they wouldn't. Tell them to call Schneider and tell them they want to get in the Jet Set program. Because now that I found out what the name of it. And find out if they'll do it. They do fly people to Hawaii. I don't see why they wouldn't fly them to Alaska. Hawaii, Alaska is a state, not a country. I don't believe any of that. We know Alaska is its own separate country up there. But if they'll fly you to Alaska, why wouldn't they fly you to Hawaii? They might. So every 3 months, so he wants to come here December, January, February, he should take those 3 months off at home in Hawaii and then come back here. Crypto futures, yes. I know that. So look, Nelson, and I'd like to know what they say. So if you ever hear back from them, see if they'll fly people back and forth to Hawaii. Okay, so they'll do people from Alaska and Hawaii we're getting on. That makes sense. If they'll fly you down from one, that might be a way to do it and still live in Hawaii. And if they just can rub that in everybody's noses, that they live in Hawaii all the time. Because there's not a lot of, I guess you get experience. You can go local in Hawaii and just deliver banana containers around all day. Hawaii is expensive, yes. You were thinking of moving there, but it's expensive, yes. The wife wants to move there, of course, as everybody does. No way. All right. The jobs are only paid like $15, $18 an hour for local. I was surprised because, there they have a limited population or whatever. And not everybody's got a passport. It's a real problem. And you just ate Subway and you feel anxiety. Hawaii is super expensive. Yes. You're going to call them. Yeah, let me know. But if they have this Jet Set, that's what they do because they're just getting people from other places. You're hopping in varies, so you don't get your own. You're hopping in varies truck, though. Oh, yeah, you wouldn't get an assigned truck on that. But for that kind of thing, I'd be okay with it because you come back somewhere different. It's something you're going to have to put up with. Look, you live in Hawaii. You should at least have to get some kind of grief in your life when it's 80 degrees there every day of the year. Oh, okay, Mr. Penske. Yeah, I know you got to do that secret handshake to get in there. Certainly. Thanks for popping in anyway. And I'm going to have to, what is it, 3:30? I'm going to have to pop out of here anyhow. So I do appreciate everybody coming in today at 3, because it's 3:30 here. So it is about time to go to work. Aren't the opening ANWR? Oh, I don't know what that is either. Right. But so either way, the Jet Set program, if you live in Hawaii and want to work in, here in the wintertime, would be a way to do it brilliantly rather than being in Hawaii. Thanks, Edgar. Thanks for coming in here. And so I appreciate everybody coming in. If you have any questions, write to me. Mark@truckinganswersnation.com. I'm out there on the web and I answer my email. So And there'll be more videos about this pay card, which has really bothered me. And I'm waiting to hear about this Prime thing. I don't understand $2 for the lumper. Why are they charging you? All right. So either way, Jerry, thank you for coming in. Say what? Thanks for coming in. Michael, keep your Prius. Go charge your Prius for all night while I'm driving my car around and filling it up in 5 minutes. And I will head on out. Thanks, D-Mojo, and we will see you on the next one. But thank you, everybody, for being here. I do really appreciate it. All right. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks, everybody. Be safe out there. I'm off.